Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 165 of Classic Elite. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me, and special guest Mike Tamashiro from the Cartoon Retrocast. What's going on, guys?
Sup?
Have you guys ever seen The Three Amigos?
Yes.
The old, with like,
Martin
Steve
Short,
Martin,
Steve Martin.
Billy Crystal,
Chevy
maybe?
Chase.
Chevy Chase, that's who it is, okay. Mm-hmm.
The song that they sing in it, My Little Buttercup, that's the sweetest. I had that song playing in my head right now.
Right
I've had it
now?
stuck in my head for like the past half hour, yeah.
That sucks. I can't think of it at the moment. But usually songs that get stuck in your head are not pleasant ones. At least for me.
Yeah. Right.
So everyone, this is our Game of the Year 2015 episode. So we've got some news to cover. We'll chat a little bit about what we've been playing, and then we'll go into our favorite games of the year. So, Mike, thanks for coming back this year for Game of the Year.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
No video, though.
Yeah, no video, but is that your daughter that you're holding?
Son.
That's your
When
son?
He was like 6 months old.
Oh, man.
Or less than that. He was like 3 months old.
Yeah, he's, I think he's older than Solomon, Dustin.
Yeah, I think he is a little bit.
Whatever the difference between June and November is, that's how old he is compared to your son.
Oh, okay, cool.
5 months?
It's video games. We're not doing math.
He still can't jump on the Goomba, but he's all right.
Solomon's ahead. Are you gonna have him graduate high school by the time he's 12? To get his brain going early.
Who, me?
No, Solomon. Your kid can't hit a Goomba. He's like us. He's just normal.
Well, he's never played video games before, so it's okay.
What? You should change that, man.
We don't really get into the video games. He does a lot of sports.
Gotcha.
When he's older, when he's like 8, that's when he's gonna get into video games.
Dustin shaking his head. What, you weren't into sports as a kid, man?
What's that?
Oh. I loved it. I played baseball, golf, tennis.
So did they actually make real life sports based on all those video games that they released?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baseball. They actually made a thing where people run around and all the outfielders move at the same time, same direction.
Yeah, that's gotta be be really hard to coordinate.
Yeah, it's like water aerobics. What's the thing called?
Synchronized swimming.
Synchronized swimming.
There you go.
Minus the swimming and on land.
Yeah.
Right.
Synchronized sports. So, everybody, if you're not familiar with Mike Tamashiro, he is from the Cartoon Retrocast, where they talk about their lives and old cartoons over at the cartoonretrocast.com.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's a good podcast. I love it. I listen to it every week.
Meh.
I would have done good on your trivia contest you guys did.
Would you have?
Mm-hmm.
Would you have won?
I didn't go back and tally it up, but I think there was the only question that I didn't know for certain was what island in Hawaii you were born.
Oh my God, I didn't think that was a very hard question.
Yeah, I had no idea. But I knew Jeremy was from Baltimore.
Yeah, so his thing, I think that was one question. Another question was, what was the first commercial we ever played on the show? You stumped him. He doesn't know.
I guess I don't remember that one.
It was Juicy Fruit.
Juicy Fruit, that's right. I remember you correcting. I think it was one of the ones I got wrong. But I would have done pretty good. I was impressed with myself.
Yeah. The guy who won is kind of weirdo. But I am going to go to L.A. During the break, and we're going to meet up, and we're going to go to a bar called One Up.
Nice.
And it's a free play arcade bar. So you go and you buy drinks and food, and then you play video games for free.
Oh, yeah. Dustin Nashville's got to have something like that. You never talked about doing that.
So there is a place like that. I forget the name of it, but it's basically the same thing. It's like you can go and eat dinner and play games. You just pick one out and play it. And I was like, that sounds awesome. We should totally go do that. And then I was like, wait a minute. I have all the games I ever want to play here. I can just eat and play games here. Why would I go out to do that?
Well, because you get to go out. It's fun. People are fun sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But not this time.
Yeah, but anybody I would want to play video games with, I could just invite over to my house.
That's true.
And it
But
wouldn't cost me.
Can you
as
get
much
blitzed for 10 times the price it would take for you to get blitzed at your house? I don't think so.
That's a good point.
I could spend the fraction of the money that it would cost on the booze and then just go buy more games to play.
Or one game. You could add your sweet 401k of video games over there.
That's right.
So, I guess to kick things off then, did you guys want to talk about Konami or Kojima officially leaving Konami and starting his own studio?
Didn't he officially leave like 2 months ago?
Kind of, but didn't they say like he was on vacation?
Yeah, it was kind of like up in the air. Like, he's kind of gone, but he still kind of has to do what we say. That's why he didn't go to the Game Awards kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I did see the YouTube video of the white guy speaking in Japanese.
Huh?
No?
I have no
Oh
idea
yeah, that one guy.
It's that's how they announced that he was partnering with Sony to start a studio.
Oh, okay. I've just watched the headlines fly by on like Twitter and Google Plus. So I didn't actually watch the announcement video. The logo's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That logo was awesome.
Yeah. It's like a skull and...
Andrew House, that's the white guy that knows Japanese.
Yes, that's him.
Also the pioneer of the house techno music.
Same guy.
But I don't know, Dustin, what do you think?
Poor Scott.
What do you think about like him doing his own studio?
I'm happy. I'm super happy that he is away from Konami because now he can make weird video games that aren't Metal Gear games.
I saw some people complaining on Twitter, I don't know if it's true or not, but that Konami is hiring people to make a new Metal Gear game. It's a rumor I heard anyways.
Isn't it going to be like a Platinum Games Metal Gear game?
Oh,
That's what I
like
Rising
or whatever,
Revengeance.
Revengeance.
Yeah, Revengeance.
Yeah, it could be.
Pachinko.
So, I don't know. That was probably the biggest news, but there's nothing else really to talk about there.
Well,
Mike?
so I actually had a question then.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you guys have been following the Mighty Number 9 thing.
Not recently, no.
But
it should have been out a while ago.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in October, and now it got pushed back to February. I think people are skeptical. I mean, there was a guy who basically made one of the best video games of all time, and he went out and started his own studio, and now people are not super happy with that product. Now, I look at it and I think it looks cool, but a lot of people are not happy with Mighty Number 9, and it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. So, but the difference is that he's funded. Kojima is funded by Sony, basically. I think that's probably the best thing that ever could have happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to, I think it was one of the Kind of Funny podcasts, and I think it was Colin that was like, it would be sweet if he would start his own studio and partner with Sony. I think it was over there that I heard someone say that would be awesome if it happened.
Done.
And now here it is. So I don't know. I just learned that Kojima actually was one of the producers on that first Castlevania Lords of Shadow game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably why it was pretty decent. So, yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to see what happens there. And then there's a new Mario Maker update that had me pretty excited. They are coming out with a Fire Koopa Clown Car, a P-Warp doors, a bumper, and world records, and a bookmark. I know you don't care, Mike.
A bumper?
Yeah, it says the bouncy donut-shaped object that sends Mario bouncing away when he's touched.
Oh, that's
okay.
like new Super Mario Brothers stuff, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then the P-Warp doors are, unlike regular warp doors, they are only visible while the P-switch is active.
Okay.
Which is perfect for creating truly devious ghost house levels. And then the Super Mario bookmark levels that players have bookmarked to play later using the web portal will be able to access that from the Course World tab. It's still weird that they have a web interface to kind of sort and curate the levels. They haven't figured out a way to do that in-game.
I'll talk about Mario Maker when we talk about Game of the Year.
Okay.
Not in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
So did you guys see what John Romero put on Twitter?
Is that the zombie guy?
Yeah, he did Doom.
George Romero. John Romero's the Doom guy.
Doom guy. Yeah. Sorry. But he had like a PC DOS port of Super Mario 3.
I saw something about that, yeah.
It's weird. The sound effects are terrible. There's no music. The physics look off. The art is off. And I don't know. Did you guys play PC games back when you had like your NES?
No, goodness no.
Yeah. I played King's Quest.
Okay.
Is that a PC game?
Yeah.
Yeah. King's Quest, like all those Sierra games.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I was only a console person, and whenever I would go over to a friend's house that had a PC, the way Super Mario looked is how I pictured just PC games working in general. They just never seemed as fluid and as colorful.
Oh, well, Black Cauldron was incredibly colorful.
Yeah, it could be. I just never experienced it.
I'm looking at this thing and it's so floaty. The controls just look awful.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting that the Doom guys were messing around with the PC port. I don't know if it was official or anything. I think it was just them goofing around, but it was cool that he put that out on Twitter.
It would have been awesome if there was like MIDI versions of Pantera songs in the background.
Is Pantera in Doom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
A lot of those were just rip-off. Well, I mean, not rip-offs. We'll go with homages of heavy metal songs like there was Slayer and Pantera.
Okay. Yeah, I never played much Doom.
Me either. I thought it was boring.
Doom's terrible.
Is it?
Doom 2, on the other hand, is pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that one being more popular. I think it could have been my age, though. And another thing that jumped out, Nintendo related, which is probably going to really piss Nintendo off, is that some people have gotten Mario Kart 8 running on a PC.
Does it look super, like, way better?
No, Mario Kart 8 looks pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it looks... I don't know how you could get it to be better.
They don't have it running at like 120 frames per second and like 4K?
I don't know. Would you be able to tell the difference between 60 and 120?
No. Probably not.
No, it actually looks worse.
They say that it's not like a perfect port, but it's more of like a proof of concept thing.
It's because Wii U's so powerful. PC's just a step down.
Well, usually it takes a couple of generations for emulation to show up on PC. Like, it wasn't until like quite a few years later that Intel chips were able to run a Nintendo emulator as well.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, are there Wii games that have been emulated? Like
Mm-hmm.
regular Wii games?
Yeah, that Dolphin emulator.
Oh, I thought that was GameCube.
And Wii
I,
U.
I,
Or
gu- I
and Wii,
guess
I'm sorry.
I guess it's Wii now. That proves how long I've even thought about it.
So I don't know. I thought
Well,
that was interesting.
a Wii is just two GameCubes taped together anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, then that's weird because a Wii U is just a Wii taped together with a pad.
a Wii U is just four GameCubes duct taped together.
3.5.
Got to cut costs somewhere. Another thing of note was Rocket League has been a huge success financially. They had an investment of around $2 million, and it looks like they've earned around $50 million. Which for a
It's
game
weird
that became popular for being free, earned so
I
much
know I was
money.
going to say it's weird that people paid for that. That was free.
Well, I screwed up and was not buying my PlayStation games while I should have been. And I ended up buying it on PC because of the zeitgeist surrounding it.
And didn't you also buy it on PS4?
Yeah.
So you bought it twice.
I've bought it twice, and I bought the DeLorean twice. So I couldn't have the DeLorean on one system and not the other. So I spent $44 on that game.
I didn't even know there were microtransactions in that game.
Yeah.
It's all hats though, right? Skins.
I don't know if you can buy hats and skin other than the DeLorean. I think you just earn the rest of it.
Yeah. I played that game a bunch when it first came out, when it was free.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you had mentioned like that you had scored so many goals in one game, and I'm like, I did way better than that. But people were horrible when I was playing.
Yeah.
So like I think 5 of those goals were just me running straight into the ball right at the beginning and then scoring a goal.
Yeah. That's satisfying when you do that.
Yeah. And I don't think that happens anymore because everybody that's still playing is actually good.
I've noticed that it happens. Like I've actually done better than whatever it was that I said that I was real proud of on an episode a few episodes ago. But I did it in a 2-person match. Like I've scored a lot more in 2-person matches. When there's 3 and 4 people, it's a lot more chaotic. So
I think I was just queuing up for 3v3.
yeah,
just
probably
always.
that's
So,
the default.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are pretty good at that game now.
Yeah, that's why I won't play it anymore.
I think it's awesome though that a game that launched on PlayStation Network or PlayStation Plus got so popular that they made quite a bit of money. I think that's sweet. It's an awesome game. And then real quick to get through these last few bullet points, and then we'll get into what you've been playing, Mike. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Nintendo patent as maybe a clue for Nintendo's new controller?
That's the one where the whole thing is a controller, basically.
It's like a touchscreen, yeah.
But it looks like a classic controller, like it has those, I don't know, wings or whatever. But then the whole thing is just a screen.
Yeah.
Other than the grips.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. People do a lot of patents,
Yeah.
and it usually doesn't mean anything.
So hopefully it does mean nothing, because that'd be a real bummer if Nintendo did away with buttons.
yeah.
How would you
Yeah,
feel? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If to anyone like anybody who's ever played a game on their phone knows that it sucks to try and push buttons that are on a touchscreen.
Yeah.
Like that would be a real bummer if that was their controller.
What are you going to say, Mike?
I was thinking about the name, right? So they always have their code names first that are always way cooler than the actual names.
Yeah.
But what if they just mixed it up and they called this console the Revolution?
Oh, and go back to what they called the Wii? Wasn't that the Wii code name?
That was the Wii code name.
They really should have stuck with that.
So, and I think they did say something about it's not going to be a Wii console, which is good because we're done with that.
Yep. Also, something of note: Street Fighter V is going to run on Steam OS and support the Steam controller when it launches.
Oh man, so not console exclusive then.
I guess no. I guess not. Oh, that's right. It was supposed to be PS4 exclusive, right?
Well, it was it was supposed to be console exclusive to PS4 and then also be on PC. But not anymore, because that's a console, right? Isn't it a console?
Oh, like a Steam machine, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Steam machines suck.
I wouldn't. But the reason that it jumped out to me was because they're showing a third-party company developing for Steam OS and a Linux-based operating system versus Windows. Just right out of the gate, you know what I mean? Instead of doing like a port.
I see.
So maybe it's kind of a step in the direction where an open source platform will get adopted as kind of the main gaming platform for publishers to release PC games on. Or I guess computer based at that point is what you'd say.
What is the PS4 run? Isn't it like
Probably a fork of Linux.
Yeah, isn't it some sort of Linux based something?
Yeah, I think so.
So is it really that different? I mean, they're already
That's a good
developing
point.
it for consoles. Although I guess Xbox probably Windows. No, it can't. Is it? I don't think it is. I have no idea.
I just know a bunch of games don't run on Steam OS that run on Windows.
Okay.
So that jumped out to me. And also speaking of Xbox, their little dongle that was exclusive to Windows 10 for the Xbox One controller is going to work with Windows 7 and Windows 8 now. So if you didn't upgrade, but you have an Xbox One, you can use your controller on your PC.
I swear, if you don't like something that Microsoft's doing, just bitch. They will change it.
Yeah.
How many things have they changed in the past like few years because people bitched?
All of them.
Oh, yeah. Quite. I mean, just about everything from that, like 2012 E3? Was that when that was? 2011
yeah.
maybe?
No, 2012. It was the one right before the consoles were launched.
Okay. Yeah, they've reversed basically everything there. And
2013, yeah.
And now they look... I don't know. They use kind of a similar strategy. It felt like they were basically saying that it just wouldn't work with Windows 7 and Windows 8, so we're not going to be able to do it. And then magically, it seems to now work with 7 and 8.
Did Major Nelson say something like, "Are you a programmer? Are you an engineer? You don't know."
He was
like,
quoted.
Well, can't you just flip a switch? Yeah, of course. Although, you know what? That makes them better. If they do changes like that, that makes them better.
Absolutely.
So, can't complain about that.
No, if they're gonna listen to users, and usually Microsoft stumbles out of the gate, and then after a couple of iterations, they put out something pretty good. Like
Well,
the Surface
and then,
One was a terrible laptop.
You know, the other part of that too is like, it's not like they're making, well, I guess I don't know, but you'd think it's not like they're making money because Windows 10 is free, right?
It's a free upgrade. It's not a free OS.
Well, okay. So if you have Windows 7 and Windows 8, then it's free.
Yeah.
So, you know, why not just let people, unless you just are really forcing them to upgrade, even though that upgrade is free, so you can pull support for Windows 7 and 8 and not have to pay that support anymore. Maybe that's the reason, but I don't know. But then they didn't do it anyway, so.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just really interesting that they were willing to change on that. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which was really cool, Patrick Lepek at Kotaku put up an article, I think today, about a dad who was in love with this Diablo type of game. It was called Grimm something. Let me pull the article back up.
Dawn.
Grimm Dawn, yeah. And anyways, so this guy really loved the game, played it all the time, and the guy ended up getting lung cancer and ultimately passing away from it. And his son, who played the game with him, put up on the game's forum the story about his dad playing the game and really helping through his cancer treatment. And the developers ended up naming a character in the game after his dad's avatar, which I thought was a really, really cool gesture.
Yeah.
How old was the son?
The dad was 64,
Okay.
so
the son
probably
was-
about our age.
Yeah, the son has a 1, 5, and 7-year-old. So.
Okay. Because I'm looking at the story and there's a guy sitting at a computer with a kid next to him. Kid must be 4 or 7. And I was like, that'd be really sad if that was the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still sad, right? But yeah.
No, it is. But yeah, if it was a 7-year-old, it would be that much more heart wrenching. But yeah, it was a really cool exchange, and the community surrounding the game Grimm Dawn kind of all came together and were coming up with ways that they could pay homage to the character Zed Lee in the game, which is really, really cool. So good for them. And then the gentleman's family who passed away, his name was John Hathaway. No, John Hathaway is the name of is not the name of the dad. Lee Hathaway is his dad's name. And the Hathaways started a fund for Child's Play in honor of Lee.
Cool.
So good for them. Kind of letting the game community embrace them. It's a pretty touching article, so if you read it, don't be surprised if you tear up a little bit. So yeah, as far as news, that pretty much covers it. So Mike, what have you been playing lately, man?
Nothing that I'm gonna talk about separate from Game of the Year talk, I think.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay, cool. Dustin, you've been playing more Dead Space?
Yep.
Still loving it?
Been chopping people up.
Wait, chopping? I thought that was a
Yeah.
shooter.
Well, I mean, using projectiles to chop people up.
Okay. I do need to play that game. It's like Metal Blades from Mega Man 2. It's like
What?
You said throwing projectiles and chopping people up, right?
Right.
Well, like from gunfire, from bullets.
Oh, okay. I thought there was like some crawl type of device.
That'd be cool. You can, there is a kinesis type of item that you can use, and you can grab things from around the environment and throw them at the necromorphs.
When your metachlorian meter fills.
Yes.
Which, by the way, we are all missing the Star Wars debut. There are a lot of people watching Star Wars The Force Awakens right now as we speak.
That's right.
Meh.
I'm about 3/4 of the way through A New Hope.
You're watching it in small chunks.
Yeah. I watch it like during my lunch breaks.
Okay. Nice.
Gotta get caught up. No spoilers.
No
No
spoilers.
spoilers, Scott.
Okay, thank you.
Lightsabers.
Oh, shit. Bastard. Oh, do you guys ever watch CinemaSins on YouTube?
On occasion.
The recent ones that he's done on the prequels are unbelievable. They are so funny. Both or all three of the movies get a 2-part episode. Now,
Oh, wow.
Part of me thinks he's chopping it up to double the revenue potentially.
Oh, yeah.
But they are half-hour long videos as well. So I don't mind him chopping it up. Yeah, but Dead Space, man. How close are you to beating it again?
Pretty close. I think I'm 10 chapters into, it's 12 chapters. So I'm
Okay.
10 chapters deep.
Nice.
What I've never played a Dead Space game, but I watched the anime. Is it an anime?
Yeah, those movies blow, dude.
Okay.
Sorry.
So they're terrible compared to the games?
Yeah. The games are so much better.
I didn't know what was going on in the movie, so I'm hoping that the game actually does something a little different. There's like a monolith that turns people into zombies. Is that kind of the gist of it?
Basically, it's
Spoilers.
yeah, spoilers for an 8-year-old game. The marker is this thing that like they built a religion around, and no one ever like. So there was a religion that existed based around markers, and then there is a mining spaceship that is just out. It's called a planet cracker, and it's like this enormous spaceship that it like takes giant chunks of planets and you mines them for the different minerals. And they crack this one planet and they find a marker for the first time ever, and people are flipping out about it, and they found a marker. But on the colony of the planet, like, people start going crazy and killing each other, and then the mining ship that's orbiting the planet grabs the marker and pulls it up on the ship, and people on the ship start going crazy and killing each other, and then the dead bodies start reanimating and killing people, and it turns out that, well, I won't spoil all of it, but
No, spoil it.
That's where you come in.
Spoil it, because I'm never going to play the games.
Zombies.
Scott might, though.
Yeah, but I'll play it for the mechanics. I don't really...
The mechanics.
Yeah, like shooting stuff. I wouldn't... It would be very unlikely that I would go through and play the whole game.
It's only like 12 hours. Not even that. It's probably like 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, but my backlog is... It's lower on my list.
Here's the thing. Dead Space is probably going to be better than 90% of the games on your backlog.
Maybe. I don't think so.
Is it on Xbox 360?
It is. And PS3.
Is it on
I have it on
backwards
PC.
compatibility?
For what, Xbox One?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
because I'll never play it if it's not.
If it's not, all we have to do is bitch about it.
Let's do it.
Starting now.
Isn't it? It's not Capcom though, is it? Who make that game?
Let's see. Developed by Visceral Games. Published by EA.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it could be then. Maybe.
Those are popular games, so it's in all likelihood, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Xbox did release a couple more. I didn't look at which ones they are, but they came out with 26 more backwards compatible games.
Yeah, I looked at that list and I said, 0 games that I actually want to play. Awesome.
Here, let me. What do you guys think of the movie Alien?
The first one?
Alien,
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, I like it.
good movie. Not the best
What do you-
of the series, but the good movie.
What do you think of Event Horizon?
I don't know if I've seen it.
It's the last time that I was actually scared from a movie. Was a single scene in that movie where they have a blood orgy.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that movie messed with my head. That one specific part really screwed with me.
No, I
What do you-
I know. I understand the genre. I like it, but are you going to get answers? Like, if I play all 3 Dead Space games, will everything be wrapped up and I'll be satisfied with the story?
92% of it will be wrapped up.
Is the 8% the answer to what those markers are that they'll never tell you? No, I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it. Never going to do it.
But hey, the last one, the DLC ends on a cliffhanger, so they could continue. Dead Space 4.
Yeah, I guess. They made a Uncharted 4, so anything's possible.
That's right.
There's a lot of people excited about Uncharted 4.
It looks
Meh.
good.
I mean, it looks great. It just seems like really boring.
I didn't like the first one. The second one was not that great. It was a good game. I just didn't like it. I never played the third one, despite the fact that I've owned it through PS Plus for a million years.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've got 3, and I've played through about half of Golden Abyss, the Vita one.
No, yeah, I forgot about that one.
That's the only Uncharted I've played is the Vita one.
Do you have to? I mean, is there points where you get to like, I don't know, some not clearing, but like a clearing with places that you can crouch behind, and then there's just waves and waves of enemies, and you're sitting there for 25 minutes shooting them over and over and over again?
On the Vita?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, then I'm never gonna play it, because that's why I stopped playing Uncharted 1, and I never went back.
The Vita is limited by its hardware a little bit, so you're not going to get tons of enemies, but the tediousness of the shooting is there. That's why I only got through half of it. The story wasn't gripping enough to just get through the basic monster closet formula.
Yeah, and I own that game too on Vita. I'll never play it.
It's actually one that, for a Vita game, has held its value okay. I think it sells for like $15 or $20.
Oh, well, I have it on PS Plus, so.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you probably won't like it.
I hated that series because you had to shoot guys like 15 times to kill them. Drove me nuts.
And then there were like 38 guys that you had to kill.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 7.
So my problem with the Vita one is they started getting to the point where you were sniping guys. And sniping on the Vita, I just couldn't do it very well. The way the joysticks work, they just weren't precise enough.
That's a
Well,
bummer.
I bought another PlayStation TV.
No.
It's one of the first time I bought it was one of the worst buys I ever did, which was $40, and I never opened it up. And then Best Buy had them for $20, so I bought it for $20, and so now I have 2 unopened Vita TVs that are probably never going to get used. Why did I do that?
Hey, in like 20 years, those things are going to be worth something because nobody else bought them.
It'll be worth millions.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as they hack them, then I'm going to break them open and play them. So
Maybe Sony will just start to actually like support it.
I mean, maybe. Like, you
Sony
can't
just-
play... What's the one I have? Yeez? You can't play Yeez on it, and Yeez doesn't have any touchscreen anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
So,
It's odd.
all right, what's next? Oh, wait, Dead Space. I have one more question about Dead Space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are all the games about 8-hour games?
With the exception of the third one. The third one was a little longer. I think it was like 16 chapters.
Ooh. Okay. If it ever comes out in a collection, which it probably will, remastered collection, I'll get it. Or if it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, that's more likely than Dead Space 4 almost. Actually, both of them are probably likely.
It'd probably be like the Dead Space collection will release, and if it sells well, then Dead Space 4 will come out then.
Yeah. Yeah. They might even just do it, like what they've done with Uncharted.
Yeah.
So I actually did, you asked me what I was playing, and I said nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right before we came on, like 2 hours before, I popped in Gears of War Remastered, or whatever it's called, Gears of War Ultimate. Because if you play it before the end of the year, they give you four Gears of War games for free.
Nice.
It's the first time I ever played Gears of War. It might be the last time I ever played Gears of War, but now I have the other 4 games. So there you go.
Cool. Yeah,
That game was pretty mind-blowing like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it looks really good too. The Ultimate Remastered version or whatever. It looks amazing, but it's so dumb. Like the dialogue is so stupid.
Yeah, it's I haven't played much of the first Gears of War. I played all the way through 2 co-op, and I played a good bit of 3 with a buddy of mine. And it didn't blow me away like it did a lot of people. It was fun to play co-op, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's still.
You don't
go
like it
ahead.
every time Marcus goes, scratch one grub.
Well, at the beginning, they were
Except for
like,
that.
it was a lot of like, we're gonna go see the colonel. Oh shoot! I guess I can't swear. Oh shoot!
Why can't you swear?
I don't know. Oh shit! Just a lot of that. Like, what the shit are you doing over here, son? Like it was probably mind blowing. It's like, oh my god, they said a swear word in a video game.
I mean, I did like the fact that you could duck behind stuff by clicking a button. That
See,
worked pretty
and the
well.
funny thing is, it's now past that, right? Like you
Yeah.
just have to run up to something and you'll duck behind it.
Yes.
Like it just knows that you want to duck behind something. So
A machine gun with a chainsaw on the end.
now that was cool. You run up to people and you just chainsaw them to death. Yeah, but other than that, I just played I played the first 2 levels and I was like, yeah, looks cool. I'm done. There's zero story here.
Yeah, the longer the series went, the better the mechanics got, but the more repetitive it felt.
And isn't there some sort of other Gears game that's not numbered?
Yeah, it begins with a U, like Unleashed or something like that, or... all I remember about that one is there's a character named Bard or something like that. I forget the guy. It was a blonde guy, and I hated him. He was so annoying. And Judgment. Not Judgment.
Yep.
So almost a U, if you look at the shape. But whoever the main character of Judgment is, I couldn't stand him in Gears of War 3. And then they followed that character as the primary character. So I was immediately uninterested in it. It's kind of like when you go to a concert and they play like the one song that you like can't stand that you always skip over.
Yeah. Like when you go to see The Offspring and they play Self-Esteem.
Yeah. I saw Radiohead and they played Morning Bell. And I hated that song. And they also released that song on 2 different albums, 2 different versions of it. One on Kid A and one on Amnesiac. I'm like, this is the worst song on the album. Why would you do it again? Well, I can understand why they'd try again, but why re-release it again? Ugh. So yeah, is that been it, Dustin? That's all you had time for?
Yeah, every once in a while Solomon will come in here and we'll play some Super Mario. He's getting better at it. Like he knows how to press right and hit A.
I saw on, I think you would put like something up on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that was him jumping.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all
You
him.
didn't make that clear, but I assumed that too. You're just like, for somebody that didn't know, it would have just been like, look how, I think it was my day was better than your day. And then it was just that first level, that first part of the first level with no explanation. Or as far as I didn't listen to the audio.
Yeah, if you hear the audio, it's me rooting him on. Like,
Okay.
I think, it starts and I go, remember hit A, the A button. And then he steps on the Goomba and we cheer.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Does your son like cars at all? See the cars?
You mean like automobiles or
Disney
cars?
Pixar's cars.
He loves them.
Have you seen on YouTube that somebody put the cars into GTA 5?
No, I did not.
That's pretty cool.
And so they're just driving them around in GTA 5.
That's awesome. So, like Lightning McQueen is running over prostitutes?
Yep.
That's great.
I think they keep it kind of G-rated, but yeah. They're just on the freeway, and then they go off the freeway, and they're just up in the hills.
Someone did a
man.
Mario Kart GTA mod. And they made one of the Mario Kart levels in GTA.
Huh.
There's some cool mods going on out there.
Although I'm pretty sure that Cars and Cars 2 are sequels to Maximum Overdrive.
Right, it's like what happens far in the future
Yeah.
once they actually take over.
Wait, is that the Emilio Estevez movie with the haunted truck?
It's not
The Green Goblin truck? What movie is
it's
that?
the Green Goblin truck. Maximum Overdrive.
Okay.
Stephen King novel, and I don't. Was it ghosts? It was aliens. I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was aliens.
Yeah.
Like, or some sort of alien presence makes cars sentient. And they start killing people.
I thought it was all machines.
Was it? It's been so long.
I seem to
since
remember
I've
a
seen it.
toaster jumping up and killing somebody. That could have been a different movie.
It's Ghostbusters 2.
You're thinking of Maximum Toaster Drive.
Yeah. Good one. Good movie.
So,
You're thinking of the Brave Little Toaster.
Yes. I
Is that
love
where
that
he
movie.
jumps up and kills that guy?
Yeah. It's the much darker sequel. Toast Harder.
Toaster's Revenge.
What is Toastarter the Kids Bop version of Firestarter from Prodigy?
That got me.
He's losing it,
Oh,
folks.
man.
You've been listening to some Kids Bop lately?
That tickled me. That was I was thinking Toast Harder, like Die Hard 2.
Oh.
Die Hard.
I heard
I didn't catch that
Starter.
Toast Starter is pretty funny.
Well, I guess move on, Dustin, since you can't even talk anymore. So listeners of the show may have caught that I've been having some issues with my graphics card. So, Dustin, you had mentioned that it could have been the new drivers that I installed.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely uninstalled all the drivers on all my AMD drivers, and it made my screen look all wonky. And then I did a Windows search, just the Windows 10 search for an update thing, and it found Radeon drivers for 7900 series, and then the issue went away. But the problem is, I have no idea what my clock speed is. I have no idea what my temperature is, so I'm assuming that everything's running at stock.
Okay.
But when my computer comes out of hibernation mode or whatever, it doesn't do the gray screen that I've been talking about after a couple minutes. So that's been a relief. I played a little bit of Rocket League. Also, I don't know, you guys might make fun of me for this. I couldn't help it. I bought the Angry Video Game Nerds Blu-ray.
All right.
It's episodes. It's the first 100 episodes.
Oh, I thought it was the movie.
I bought that too. I'm a sucker.
Hey, his early stuff is funny.
Yeah.
I like the nerd, but that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, the recent stuff has just been awful. Even the nerd stuff has been awful recently.
I think it's okay, but it definitely doesn't have the charm that it did.
And then the other thing,
doing it for like a decade.
yeah. Well, but still, it's his job, right? I mean, this is how he makes a living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not hard, but it's not like he has a day job and this is just a side thing.
Yeah, and he did that really successful Kickstarter and bought all that really nice movie making equipment.
And then never.
So now, I mean, it's overkill for YouTube, but at least he's using the stuff.
So, and then the other thing too is I kind of got settled into James and Mike Play, and then now it's just some other douche that I don't really like that much.
I don't like it when the guy with the glasses is a guest on that.
Oh, I don't know who it is, but it's not Mike. Actually, Mike is one of I think I like him more than the nerd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sometimes his potty mouth or his potty humor is like too juvenile for me.
Yeah. But I think he is the real nerd. He just didn't want to be on camera.
Oh, okay.
That's what they were saying, is that he's the one that has all these, at least at the beginning, he was the one that had tons of games and was into all that stuff. And James was actually about making movies, which is fine. I mean,
yeah,
that's good. But he's the one that we probably relate to the most. So, and now he's gone. He got kicked off the show. I'm sure he's doing something great, but.
Huh?
Well, I don't know. He's not on there anymore.
Who?
Is he? Mike.
Yeah, he streams stuff on the Cinemassacre YouTube channel.
Oh, I haven't seen him on the James and Mike play anymore. It's some other guy. That's what I was saying. It's been a different
Oh,
guy for a
yeah,
couple
I
weeks
think he's
ago.
still around, and I think it was just kind of a guest thing. So yeah, so I got that. So I'm excited to watch the special features. That's why I like to buy Blu-rays, is for the special features and stuff. So there's a whole disc of them, which is cool. And Mike,
What's
I,
up?
I finished The Witcher 3.
What? How? What? I messaged you yesterday and you said you hadn't even touched it for weeks.
Yeah, I was up till 3:30 last night,
All
and
right, we can talk about it.
so we can
Awesome.
talk about it a bit. And we'll talk about it more towards here in a little bit. We'll give like spoiler warnings for our Game of the Year stuff.
But we're gonna spoil the crap out of it.
Probably. I will say this. I got the bad ending.
That's all right. Let's talk about it when we get there.
So we will definitely let's do our Game of the Year stuff and kind of do our lists and whatnot, and then we'll really dig in late
All right.
with some heavy spoilers. So, yeah,
I'm so happy.
I
I'm
finished it.
so happy. Not because you like the game, because I'm sure you didn't like the game as much as I did, but because I can actually talk to you about the ending. Finally,
Finally, it's been like 6 months.
6 months.
It took me 35 hours according to Good Old Games, and
That was pretty fast, actually. You
There
must have
was
spent it
one
towards the
time
end.
though that my internet went down while I was playing, and so it disconnected me from the service. So there was a couple hours not recorded. So I think it was probably closer to like 37 or so.
Yeah.
And I finished at level 28.
And you did do it on easy too, right? Like the easiest level. So
Yeah. So that helped with the. So I didn't die a whole bunch and have to redo a bunch of battles and stuff.
right.
So, all right, guys. Well, let's get into our Game of the Year stuff. Just to give listeners a heads up, we will be spoiling some stuff. I will not spoil some stuff in my game, but Mike is just a spoiler happy guy. So,
Forget it's all you. Just turn it off now.
but what we're going to be covering is all of our favorite games that were released this year. If everybody wants, they can pick their favorite retro game for the year. I have one. And we can go over some games that we wish that we played that we didn't get a chance to get to. So, Mike, you said you've got your list. What?
Right.
Let's start with you as far as your games of the year. How many major lists? Are you doing a top 10? Are you doing
So
five?
I split up my list into, let's see, I did 18. So I did 20. I played 22 games this year
Nice.
in the sense that I felt like I played a good amount of them, right?
Mhm.
It's not just like Gears of War is not on this list because I played it for 20 minutes. So I have 9 games that I played, decided that those games weren't for me, and I just shelved them. Maybe I'll come back to one of them, but probably not. And those games are Battlefield Hardline. Actually, let's go from the bottom of that list. In order from worst to first of the games that I decided that I never wanted to play again. Project Cars, Monster Hunter 4, Evolve, Star Wars Battlefront, Mortal Kombat X, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, Final Fantasy Type 0, Majora's Mask, and Battlefield Hardline. And I've never played Majora's Mask either. I decided that wasn't a game for me. I don't know why.
You know, I had a hard time getting into it as well.
I think it's just too dated. Just too dated. Probably a great game when it came out, though, right?
Yeah, I remember loving it, but it just got put on the back burner, and I forget what game came out. I think it was either Ori or Axiom Verge. One of those two just sucked me away from Majora's Mask, and I couldn't get back to it.
So next is the list of games that I played, and they sort of came out towards the end of the year, so I didn't have time to finish them, except for one of them. And these are games that I will get back to, and I will finish, and they will be great games. So from worst to first, Ori and the Blind Forest, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Game of Thrones, Telltale series, and Fallout 4. So can't really. That's and first to worst in the sense that as far as what I've played of them so far.
Yeah.
I can imagine Ori would be on the top of that list, but I've only played 2 chapters. So
I'm just happy that it's there, that it's one that you want to finish.
well, I always wanted to get it, but I didn't want to pay $20 for it, so I got it for $5.
Awesome.
Some lady bought the bundle and was selling it for $10, and then nobody bought it because it was already $10 on the Xbox store, and she lowered it to $5, and I grabbed it right away.
Oh yeah.
Paid her with an Amazon gift card. I mean, she lives like across town from me, and then she just took a picture of the code and gave it to me. The easiest Facebook sale transaction I ever did.
Nice.
And then Xenoblade Chronicles has been good, but man, if you play modern RPGs on the new consoles, it's tough. It doesn't look good, doesn't play well, and it's got a lot of problems. And then Game of Thrones, I finished the first episode and it was really good, but I just started doing other stuff. And then Fallout, same thing. It just came out too late, man. I couldn't finish it.
That's a huge game.
A
dense.
All right. So do you want me to do my full list here? So now I have 9 on my top 10 list.
Okay.
But these are all games that I beat or basically they can't be beat. So I played a good amount of it. So the last on this list is Batman Arkham Knight. Just an awful game. No offense, but it's just strafing tanks, dude.
I really enjoyed it.
It's strafing tanks. It's
your opinion differs from mine. I'm so offended.
It was a really
This is America.
It was a really good game. It was just the worst game that I played all year.
That was the working title, actually.
Yeah.
The worst best game you'll play this year.
Yeah. Batman: Strafing Tanks.
Strafing tanks. And then, I'm sure you'll talk about it, Scott, but like the part with those stupid scorpion tanks, oh my God. And
Which
then
ones were the scorpion tanks? Were they had the
ones
3
where you
prongs?
have to backstab.
Oh my God, those were the worst.
And then
there's a part where they're dense too, where there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's like 6 of them.
Yeah. Oh my God, those were horrible.
I don't know. And then like such a disappointing, like the twist secret was so disappointing that it actually caught me off guard.
So I don't know any Batman lore, and I wasn't really paying much attention. So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I guess that makes sense.
Do you have no interest in this game, right, Dustin?
Correct.
And again, everybody, hopefully you've turned it off by now if you're sensitive to spoilers.
I mean,
spoilers for Batman.
Like, I'd like to play it just because I think the mechanics are cool, but if you spoil the story, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, so do you know about Batman at all? Do you know about the different Robins?
Like one Robin dies and one becomes Nightwing and one says holy rusted metal Batman.
So, and I only know this because I watched the DC animated movie Under the Red Hood. But one of the Robins, basically you think he's dead, but he turns out to be this villain called Red Hood.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. That was good.
Yeah. So there you go. There's Batman Arkham Knight for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you start playing it and then there's a villain there, you'll be like, oh, okay. That's Red Hood.
All right. Is he like the Is that who the game is named after? Arkham Knight?
Yes.
Yes.
So the Red Hood is the Arkham Knight. And see, I was like, there's no way they're going to do this because it's too obvious. I thought it was actually Barbara Gordon. That's who I thought Arkham Knight was.
Oh, okay.
Because they never, at least if you watch it, they never show her and Arkham Knight at the same time until the end, before you find out it's Jason Todd. And then I'm like, well, I guess it's not her.
Yeah.
Or actually, you think she's dead. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, enough about number 8 is Halo 5 Guardians.
Oh.
Again, great game. second worst game I played all year that I finished. Well, see, there's a lot of games that were worse, right? Because I decided not to finish them.
Yeah, I mean, this is still your top.
Right, these are all the games that I beat. I liked them enough to finish them.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to say about Halo 5. The boss battles were pretty crappy. Although the mechanics were really good. It was fun to play. It felt good. And it looked great. And probably the worst part about it is that you basically played Master Chief for like 20% of the time.
Oh, it's that. I know that you played other characters, at least in like the multiplayer capacity, but you actually aren't Master Chief that much?
In the story, you're only Master Chief for about 20 or 30% of the time. Number 7 was The Order.
Is that really a big deal though? Like, I mean, are there any mechanical differences between Master Chief
there's
and
no
the other
mechanical differences, but the only reason why I like Halo is because I like Master Chief.
Really?
Yeah. The game, at
that's
least,
weird.
because I like the Halo story. So I like Master Chief. He's part of that Halo story.
I didn't even know Halo had a story.
Oh, it's got a great story. Have you ever seen, on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Netflix, there is it's sort of like a compilation of animes called Halo,
Legends?
I don't remember what it was. Halo Legends.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And there's another one. It was like on YouTube, but it's called Halo Forward Unto Dawn. It's a live action. It looks like a really cheaply made promo movie, but surprisingly, pretty good. Especially towards the end.
It has one of the girls from Witch in the Wardrobe. Lion Witch in the Wardrobe.
Yes, it does. Yep. I had to look that up because she looked familiar. All right, so not that much to say about Halo. Order 1866, that's number 7. Really short game and not a whole lot of depth to it, but looked amazing and was fun.
I really want that game.
It's a great game. It's probably super cheap right now.
Yeah, it's got werewolves in it. It's been on sale for like $20 before, and it was just at a time where I was just like, I can't spend $20 on.
Yeah, if you're gonna buy it, wait till it's under 10, and it will be under 10 soon. Or you know what'll probably happen? It'll be free for PS Plus.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
I'm pretty positive that it will be. I don't know when, but so number 6. I know a lot of your listeners love this game, but Super Mario Maker, pretty low on the list, and it's really fun, but I can't find fun levels.
Oh, really?
So it seems like everybody, I've listened to various things, like you talk about it and stuff on Giant Bomb. It just seems like somebody will make a level that's really hard, and it'll take them 5 to 10 hours to beat, and then it'll take other people 5 to 10 hours to beat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's fun.
There's
a metagame.
There's certainly more to it than that, but the problem with, and that's the biggest problem with it, is the curation aspect of it. Finding the good levels or finding the good level designers is pretty challenging.
Think about this, Scott. If you didn't stream and you didn't know people that streamed on YouTube, would you have as much fun with this game as you're having right now?
Probably not.
Yeah. So that's me, right? I mean, I don't stream, and I don't really know anybody that streams on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I'll play the levels, and they're fun. And like, I had fun playing your really hard level, and your other levels. But that's it. I only know you. You know.
Yeah.
So,
and Jeremy, your co-host, his levels were really easy.
Well, but see, he wanted to make them fun.
Yeah, I heard him talk about it. He wanted to make like an actual Mario game.
Right. And I get that. And I actually did play, somebody made like a Super Mario, it was called Super Mario Maker World. And I think I sent it to you.
It sounds really familiar.
He posted on Reddit, and he had all his codes, but you really only have to enter one code. And he has basically I think 8 worlds plus a star world.
Oh, nice. And
each world has 4 levels or something like that. And it was really fun. But that was it. Like once I beat those, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I beat this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. There's a lot of improvements that could be made to it, and I'm waiting for that game. Let's just say that.
Well, there's a chance that that could happen. Nintendo this year has done pretty well supporting some of their games. Mario Kart, Splatoon. They've done quite a few updates to Mario Maker, so you actually might get that stuff.
Right. Mario Maker 2, where they have the overworld maker, and you could just make a full game with where each level has like maybe you can add different ways to finish the level, and that'll go to different areas. That's the kind of stuff that I'm waiting for.
Yeah, that would be
But until
sweet.
then, it's a fun game. It's a really fun game. I'm just not going to play it.
Yeah.
Then number 5 is Rise of the Tomb Raider. Amazing game. Just like the first one. Had some stuff that was different. But I think this one, the story was a little less than that first one. You guys haven't played haven't played that yet. Either
No,
of you have
I played the
Xboxes.
first one. I haven't played Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Same.
So the story in the first one I thought was really cool. It had that twist. Spoilers for that game. I don't know if you guys thought this, but there's a part where the plane is going to come pick you up. I was like, oh, that was a really short game. And then the plane gets shot down.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really weird that the plane got shot down because it got shot down with lightning. Because before that, you don't really think it's supernatural. You think it's just a bunch of weird cultists.
Mhm.
In this one, it's kind of like, it's pretty straightforward, the story. There's not a whole lot of mystery to it. But really good, though.
Cool.
Number 4, Destiny, The Taken King. I'm calling it. It came out this year.
It's acceptable.
Yeah.
This game I liked more than I thought I would. It was really fun. And I know both of you have it, and I know both of you didn't play it.
That's accurate.
That's true. True story.
But it is actually really fun. And for the people that get super into it, like, I don't know. I'm not going to get super into it. But I did play it up till I beat it, and then I played it a little bit after that, geared out my guy a little bit more. And then I was like, you know what? I'll wait for the next one. So the top 3 are basically a dead heat. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just going to not randomly. I'm actually going to pick which ones I thought were better than the others, but for all intents and purposes, they're basically the same. They're all 10 out of 10 games. If any one of these games came out the previous year or the next year, they probably would have been number 1 easily. So number 3 is Metal Gear Solid 5. I know Dustin didn't beat it, but I wonder how far you made it into it.
I got up to the point where, like, I got the first ending.
And that was it? You didn't finish the other... You didn't do any other missions after that?
No, I was just kind of like, nah, I'm done with this.
Okay. I think that's probably okay. Because it was... There were some cool missions, but then they also sprinkled in those where you had to repeat missions, but they were hard, like hard mode.
Yeah.
And I didn't do any of those. And then the other missions were kind of like, eh. But then you'd lose quiet on one of them, and that... Spoilers. And that one's really cool. That one's a cool mission. So that game, oh my god, that game was great. But it was incomplete, and they kind of screwed up the ending. So that's why it's last out of the top 3. Bloodborne's number 2 because I don't know why. Because The Witcher 3 is so great, that's why. Did you finish Bloodborne, Dustin?
Nope.
How far did you get?
I got to the part where it was right. I think the one boss that I didn't fight was Amygdala.
Okay.
So like from that point forward, I didn't finish. So I was pretty deep in.
Yeah, you only have like 3 more bosses, I think.
Yeah.
And I think Amygdala is an optional boss, so you don't even have to fight him or her, whatever it is. Actually, yeah, you are. You only have 2 more bosses left.
And then like I picked it up and I was gonna play it, and then Solomon came in, and I was like, well,
You can't do that.
no, not happening now.
Yeah.
And you've been flirting with Dark Souls a whole bunch.
Oh yeah, I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls.
So which do you prefer? Do you prefer the slow, methodical Dark Souls or the high-flying, fast-paced Bloodborne?
Um, I think Dark Souls, but I think it's because I'm better at it. Because it's a little more lenient.
Is it? I
I think a little more. I feel like Bloodborne has a lot less room for error.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I got the platinum in it. I didn't think it was. Everybody talks about how those games are so hard, but
Mhm.
like, in all honesty, Mario Maker's harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, I played Scott's stupid touchy start level. That was harder than any Bloodborne level. So it's just a matter of just repeating it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't mean it's hard. That just means that you have to get better at it to progress, or you have to practice, I guess, to progress.
Maybe that's it. I'm already good at Dark Souls, and it would take me time to practice Bloodborne.
So I played Sins of the First Scholar for like just a little bit, and I just felt it was too slow. Like
Mhm.
I just felt it was too slow. So and it's probably that same thing, right? Like I'm used to that high flying Bloodborne, jumping around and dodging and stuff,
Mhm.
and with no shield either. So I was just like, this is too slow. I don't want to play this. And then Witcher 3, we can talk about it when you're ready to talk about it, Scott. But
Okay.
it was the #1 game of the year. It was the greatest game I ever played. But I do see that it's not for everyone. I 100%. I felt bad because I felt like I was pushing you to play it. I
You
don't want to
were.
be that guy that pushes somebody to play something that they don't want to play.
You did.
Well, I didn't. I told you I told you should
You
just hang it
guilted
up
me into
at
it.
some point.
You
Didn't
did,
I?
but I was already too invested. And you told me that the ending was great, so I had to see what all the fuss was about. And then a lot of people gave it Game of the Year, and I was thinking, gosh, really? So I pushed through and I accepted your challenge. And
Well, the thing is I didn't mean it to be a challenge. I didn't mean you to do it if you didn't want to do it. But I really got into that world, and it wasn't a chore for me to go back into that game. So like I played, I bought the DLC, and I played as like a 10-hour expansion, which by the way has the best sex scene out of all the sex scenes. And I got right back into it, man. I was right there into it, and I loved it. Loved every second of it.
cool.
So maybe it's just me, but if you don't like that, then don't play the game because it's not worth it. It's too long of a game
It's long.
to slug through.
Yeah. But you're not alone, man. A lot of outlets have agreed with you as that being their favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
So, well, good list, man. Were there any games that jumped out that you wish that you'd played?
Honestly, no. I would have said Ori
Mm-hmm.
just because it looks great and a lot of people were saying they loved it. And I'm glad I played it even though I didn't play it for that long, but I will play it. I don't know what other games came out. You tell me.
Well, you can chime in when I talk about the games that I wish I played. And if you have any oh yeahs, then just chime in then.
You know what? I do wish that I played, and I will play this when it's free on PS Plus. Galaxy. Have you heard of that
Oh,
game?
yeah, I remember watching the Giant Bomb Quick Look about it.
It's a roguelike. I don't know. I know that term now because you told me. Where it looks like Robotech.
Let me look at a
Galaxy.
screenshot.
Z. It's got a airplane, and then it transforms into a robot and shoots, and yeah. I mean, I'll play it eventually, but it did come out this year, and I do wish that I played it. So
That's pretty. Is it kind of like Asteroids?
it's got that feel for the combat,
Okay.
like you're kind of floating in space, and you can swivel along your axis and shoot.
Okay. Cool. Well, Dustin,
Yes.
where do you want to start?
Okay, well, I think there's only been like 4 games in 2015 that I've actually played,
Yeah, I know.
and that
So
was
Skyrim?
yeah, that's it. Just Skyrim 4 times over. Let's see. I played Axiom Verge, which was okay. I didn't beat it, but I have a pretty high bar when it comes to the Metroidvania type games. But it's an amazing game considering it was made by one dude.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack is incredible. I played MGS5, and that was a really good game. I didn't finish it because...
Well, you kind of did. You really kind of did.
Yeah, I kind of finished it. The first ending finished it. Like, if you watch Return of the King and you turn it off the first time, it like fades to black. That's basically the ending I got.
You had credits run.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
So you saw how it should have just tidied it up then.
What's up?
Well, like, Return of the King had like 8 endings.
Right.
It
Yeah.
just kept going. So at least you had a stopping point.
But the reason, the big thing I didn't like about that game is basically the one thing I don't like about most open world games is that the game has to be open wide enough that basically anybody can finish it. So, like in the first Metal Gear, when you're fighting Metal Gear, spoilers, you're guaranteed to have the Stinger missile launcher.
This is the
So-
MSX one.
No, I'm sorry, Metal Gear Solid. You're guaranteed to have the Stinger missile launcher. Like it feels very directed, and in Metal Gear Solid 5, you may find yourself in that mission and you don't have the necessary equipment to beat the Sahelanthropus that you fight. And
Well-
go ahead.
Okay. Only because they don't give you a good tutorial of how to use vehicles.
Right.
Because there is a vehicle or 2 vehicles in that level that if you knew how to use a vehicle, which I didn't, I had to go look online to figure it out because I knew I was supposed to use that somehow, it's very easy to beat.
But even still, it didn't feel... It was so open, it didn't have the same impact that it would have otherwise. So that's why I kept waiting for that Metal Gear feeling, and it was just never there. It was the phantom pain, man.
So, and just for me, that was the first Metal Gear game I played.
Yeah.
So I had no expectations. I had heard that the boss battles in the previous game were really good, and I didn't feel like any of the boss battles in this game were good. You know what I mean? In fact, there was just one boss battle really,
No.
and it was the Sahelanthropus one, and it was pretty piss poor. So,
Well, I guess quiet.
yeah, I mean, I just knocked her out with a supply crate. You didn't do that. You didn't do that?
Excellent. I didn't know, but that's
You
excellent.
cannot do it on the hard mode quiet, though. I found that out.
Oh,
Um, yeah, there's quiet. There's yeah, I guess that's it, right? There's quiet, and I mean every sort of mission is kind of like a boss battle, I guess. Like sometimes, but um, so how'd you feel about the ending? We're gonna spoil this, but how'd you feel about the ending? I know you YouTubed it, but
yeah. The gameplay is excellent. I love that part. But so the fact that you're not actually playing, spoilers, last time, you're not actually playing as Big Boss was kind of like, eh.
did you
I
see it coming though, or
I kind of figured something was going on just because of the way the game begins, where it shows you as the character that you build, and then it cuts back, and all of a sudden you're Big Boss.
right?
So I mean, they show you that you're not Big Boss at the very beginning of the game.
It's so funny because I thought that was just a straight troll. I thought he
Right.
was just like, this is gonna be funny. You're gonna make a character, and you're still gonna just be Big Boss.
Yeah.
I,
That's
and I was
that's
like,
what
"Oh,
I thought it was
hilarious."
watching the intro of it. That's exactly what I thought. That it was just like
Oh.
a weird quirk, like a haha.
And the other funny thing too is like when you play that second, well, that's really tedious for you to play that last chapter, which is really the first chapter. But when you play it, nothing's different. Like that's when you look at who comes in to assassinate you, that's quiet, which was the same as in the first. Like I just didn't remember that was quiet. Is that spoiler to everybody?
I don't. I'm probably.
So wait, the girl at the beginning is quiet?
The girl at the beginning that comes in to assassinate you is quiet.
Okay.
So you know how she gets burned alive
Mhm.
and then falls out the
Thrown
window?
out the window?
They injected her with some sort of whatever virus, some sort of virus that healed her body. But so they were saying that they looked at her, or her lungs. That's why she can't talk, although she can talk. So never mind. She can't talk because of the virus. Her lungs are burnt on the inside and stuff like that because that was quiet. So,
Oh.
but she has
okay.
no memory of that either. I don't think.
Of course.
But if you go through it and you remember things well, and then you see quiet, you're like, hey, wasn't that the girl who was trying to assassinate me at the beginning? It's just that I never made that connection because it was like 6 hours later.
Yeah.
So that was quiet, and I don't know if you listen to all the tapes. You probably didn't, but there was a lot of story in all those tapes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because I was like, oh, so they made this big deal about getting Kiefer Sutherland to be Snake, and he never talked. Like he rarely talks throughout the game. But
Yeah.
he talks a lot in those tapes.
And it was just like, because you start out in Afghanistan, right? And then you go to Africa. And there's literally like, it's just like, you kind of switch up the stage. Like there's no gravity to the situation at all. It's just like, okay, we're somewhere else now.
Right, and it wasn't even like you when you get to Africa, you're like, okay, we took on these jobs because we're diamond dogs now, and now we're gonna take on jobs to make money because that's what
Yeah.
we do. Like there was no, I don't know. So let's see. So when you go to Africa the first time, you kind of have a boss battle. It's not really a boss battle, but you're running away from Sahelanthropus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then and I think you bring Emmerich back. But like I said, it was my first Metal Gear, and I had the sort of general idea of the story from YouTube videos. But I loved it, and then also the part where you could kind of do anything you want. You have a bunch of tools, and then you can just whatever way you want to complete this mission. Here's your tools. Go do it.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
great.
that was great. So just from gameplay alone, it was great. But when I was done with it, I was done with it. I never went back. And I'll never go back because they're never going to put out DLC. They're never going to finish the game. And I don't know if you saw that in the collector's edition, which I don't have, there was actually supposed to be another landmass
Huh.
So, I'm sure you know that Eli was Liquid Snake, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's another
Um,
thing. Like you meet like Volgan is the guy on fire, right?
Right.
The floaty kid is Psycho Mantis.
It
You
might be
fight
this.
you fight Liquid Snake, and it's like this kind of reference. It's just these awesome characters are like these throwaway references, basically.
Right. It's like you know, Snake, Big Boss always knew. I guess he never fights Psycho Mantis, right? Does Big Boss ever fight Psycho Mantis?
Hmm.
It's Solid Snake that fights Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but there was that connection there at least. That there's Psycho Mantis, and Volgan was in Snake Eater.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff, and that's not why.
Didn't we already have a Metal Gear Solid spoiler cast?
No,
We didn't?
no.
Okay.
I haven't been on the show since Bloodborne spoiler cast.
I could have sworn you were there when Dustin's like, yeah, I just YouTubed it.
Yeah, but you didn't. I didn't think you said the ending though, did you?
I don't think I did.
Yeah. Well, that's the ending. You're not Big Boss. You're just some other guy, but you kind of turn into Big Boss, and
Right.
it's sort of. I'm okay with this, but I know people were mad about it. It explains why you kill Big Boss twice,
Yeah.
and really 3 times because he's resurrected. But explains why you kill him twice with no explanation. Because there's 2 Big Bosses,
Yeah.
right, Scott? Are you following or
This
not?
just sounds so stupid. I will not play Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's weird. I think Ground Zeroes is better than Phantom Pain.
Yeah,
Because
you're pretty clear about that.
Yeah, you're actually Big Boss for one.
That's why.
And I don't know, just because it pays tribute to Snatcher in one of the missions. It like they talk about like the old games. It has like that Kojima feel of like breaking the fourth wall and talking about the old games where you like go around and try and find these different logos, and it just I don't know. It feels more like Kojima directed it than Phantom Pain.
Well, there is some weird stuff that you might have missed. So, what's the girl's name in the Phantom Pain or in Ground Zeroes? The blonde Russian girl,
Oh yeah,
Petra. I don't know.
I don't remember what her name is, but I know what you're talking about.
So she comes back in Phantom Pain,
Yeah.
and so you're like, I thought you died. I thought you blew up, and then they kind of recreate the scene of her blowing up, and she doesn't actually blow up. I don't know, and she actually, the bomb is outside of her when it goes off, and then you're kind of going back in and talking to her, and then she keeps having these headaches, and then at some point at the end of that, I think you have to go and you have to go find these pictures, and at the end, you come back in, and like she's gone, like there's no door there, and he's like, where is she? And Ocelot's just like, who are you talking about? Or something like that. And then if you actually look, the room that you were in is not physically possible in that building space.
Mhm.
So you were hallucinating the whole time because you have that piece of shrapnel in your brain. So
And I think I know what you're talking about. I think the guy who becomes Big Boss was the medic who was trying to save her,
right, he's the medic.
and he's like trying to like overcome the guilt of her dying.
Right. And the
From
other
her
cool
vagina
thing
bomb.
too that I found out later is that they never show that medic's face in Ground Zeroes
Yeah,
because he's the guy who you create the face for.
yeah.
Scott's just looking at us like, what the fuck are you guys
I
talking
am
about?
so bored with this conversation.
All right.
Dustin, what's
Go
your
on.
second favorite
Someone-
game?
Actually, my favorite game of 2015 was Until Dawn.
Nice.
I haven't played that yet.
It's a great game. I don't have much patience for like quick time events. or games based around them. So I took a chance on this game, and it actually I'm very glad I did, just because I'm a big fan of horror movies and slasher films and such, and this game pays a lot of homage to all of the above. And
have you had a chance to go back and replay it? Because you can have different characters survive.
I was going to ask how many times you played it.
And theoretically, I heard someone say that all the characters could survive.
yeah, I only lost 3, and I was actually really impressed because one of them I lost because I ignored the basic tenets of horror movies.
So you went upstairs.
So what?
You went
You had
upstairs
sex with them?
or sex with them.
I actually I went off alone. I had one of my characters go off alone and investigate a strange noise. After I did that, I was like, I am an idiot. Of course, I lost the character for doing that.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Now we know.
There are strange noises and characters can die. But yeah, Until Dawn, it has Peter Stormare in it.
Who is...
He played Satan in Constantine.
Oh, okay. I like that movie.
Yeah. He was one of the nihilists in The Big Lebowski. We believe in nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, Peter Stormare, he's cool. He was the Russian guy in Armageddon.
Didn't see that movie.
Oh, you didn't miss anything. Yeah, Peter Stormare, great. I'm a huge fan of his. What else? Yeah, that was my 2015 games.
Didn't you only cover 3 of them? Didn't you say you had 4?
4. Oh, Bloodborne was the other one. You're right, Bloodborne.
Deal.
So, Axiom Verge, MGS5, Bloodborne, Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Okay. What was your favorite? Because you played a lot of retro and old games. What was your favorite retro game of the year?
Favorite retro game of the year. Let's go with
Chrono Trigger.
That's actually the first one on my mind. Yeah.
Every year it's Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. Well, I played Earthbound a little, didn't I? Did I play Earthbound this year? We'll say I did.
Okay.
I'm still not impressed with that game.
Why would you bring it up in your favorite retro games?
That was just because that was like the other like big RPG that I played.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I was just kind of like, meh. Not impressed. Chrono Trigger's better. And for like random old games to play, everyone should play Condemned Criminal Origins, Dead Space, and Dark Souls. Not necessarily in that order.
What's since you had such a limited year, you had a really busy year. So what's a game or two that you didn't get a chance to play that you really wanted to?
Witcher 3.
Okay.
Fallout 4, which I saw the Giant Bomb quick look of, and they were talking about it like it was like they were playing a slideshow or something. The frame rate was so bad.
Oh yeah.
But I watched the quick look and it was great.
Yeah, on what system? On what system? Because I haven't had technical problems with mine.
PS4?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
It doesn't have the best graphics, but it plays fine.
Yeah. And of course, Just Cause 3.
And I just saw on.
Wait, hold on. Why do you want to play that game?
Just Cause 3?
Yeah.
Just Cause.
Oh, okay.
But they released a patch, Dustin, that addressed the load times. So they're working on it. So eventually it'll be there for you.
The price of that game is going to drop like a rock. So I would just wait for 6 months before you even pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
I might get it for Christmas. I'm not sure. I might not. We'll see.
Good deal. Any other that you wish that you'd gotten to?
A little bit of Mario Maker.
Oh yeah.
I kind of I hear people talking about the levels. I really the idea I had about making levels for Solomon to play.
Did we talk about that off air or on air?
I think that was on air last time.
That was on air, and I thought I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Like you could just make a level that was, a couple Goombas or something, and then a pit, just to get them going.
Yeah. So I might do that. I don't know.
And the way that kids tend to go towards like Minecraft and Lego and stuff like that. Once the light goes off, that he can make his own. Like you could just see him do crazy stuff.
You definitely don't want to expose him to Minecraft, because then he's going to be one of those little bitch-ass kids that I see everywhere playing Minecraft, asking their friends what their favorite Minecraft YouTube channel is. Oh my god, I just want to murder them.
The kids at my schools that I support, they're always talking about Roblox, like robot and blocks mixed together. Roblox.
Is this a game or a thing?
I think it's like Minecraft, but in browsers and free. I don't know. It looks like I saw people play, like kids play, and I'm like, man, that looks like Virus City. Like it just looks like Trojans.
Yeah, these awful little kids are why people are billionaires that shouldn't be billionaires.
Right.
Like that stupid guy who made that Verizon phone. I'm like, that guy should not be eating well. He should be homeless on the street, living in his mom's basement.
Instead, he got to deal with Verizon and
probably makes millions of dollars a year. And I'm obviously jealous, and that I didn't think of it. So F him.
Cool. Well,
One more question for Dustin.
go for it.
What was your favorite amiibo released this year?
Let's see.
Was it Lucina?
I think it was Dark Link.
Oh, Dark Link.
I think with this new
Shadow
Skype update, we can kick individual people.
Dude,
Right,
why
go
haven't they
ahead.
made a Shadow Link amiibo? That would be badass.
I'm sure they will.
No, they won't.
They should put him
making
in. They should put him in Super Smash, and all you have to do is just duck in the corner
Yeah.
to beat him.
Well,
That'd
they
be
don't.
awesome.
But they don't even have to make. Oh, I get it. But they don't even have to make a. They don't have to put them in Smash to make an amiibo, because they have that Midna. Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Minka. They have that amiibo, so they just do whatever they want.
Printing money with their amiibos.
Well, the amiibo bubble is burst, so I don't think they're selling as well anymore.
No.
Good.
I know I'm not buying them as much anymore. All right, go ahead, Scott.
Okay.
Where are you at? What are your favorite games this year? Is it Hearthstone and Legions of the Storm?
You're close. You are very close. Let's see. I played. Okay. I was gonna try to count them up. Some games that I played that I didn't care for a whole lot, or that didn't make my top 10. Mortal Kombat X I thought was okay. But it didn't make it. A game that I thought was pretty overrated, I didn't get real into it, was Crypt of the Necrodancer. I felt like that was kind of like the flavor of the week indie darling there when it first released, and I had trouble getting into that game. Another one was Zero Drifter on the 3DS. I think it also came out on Vita. It's kind of like a little platformer shooter. It was, nah. A game I did like that didn't make my top 10 was Ink. It's kind of like a Super Meat Boy ripoff, but visually it was really cool. I played a little Darksiders. I dabbled in Destiny. And Hearthstone is an old game that I really enjoyed this year because it came out in 2014. But I did like the expansions, but I didn't put Hearthstone in my top 10, surprisingly enough.
Well, because it didn't come out this year.
Well, they had expansions that came out.
Well, gnomes and goblins or something.
Well, that was a card expansion, but they also had some single player quests that you could do.
Are you saying that you didn't get the legendary Jaina Proudmoore? I'm just making stuff up.
I was going to say, I think Jaina's just a Heroes character. I don't know if she's in Hearthstone.
Hold up. So you didn't get the Curse of Darkness, Shadowbolt Spam built deck?
I don't. You're doing a good job. I don't know what you're talking about. So
I don't know. I'm just picking stuff off of WoW and seeing if that's an actual, because you're whoever it is that you play Hearthstone with will write in and say, "Oh, I got this and this and this," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's all World of Warcraft stuff." And I know it's Warcraft.
yeah, I was
but
gonna say yeah.
I'm just saying that I understand those terms. I don't understand what he's talking about. So I was thinking that I could just throw around some random Warcraft terms and see if any of them stuck.
I'm sure some of those did. I don't pay attention to the cards that much. I'm a lazy net decker, so I will go and look at good decks that other people have made, and just make their deck.
Well, see, you know what you can do actually is you can get the disc priest build and bubble spam.
There you go. Perfect. I'll be able
When
to
you
go
said
12-0 in
lazy-
arena.
Lazy net decker sounds a lot like Scruffy Nerfurger.
So I think what I'll do is talk about the game. Here's the list of games that I wish that I played this year, so you can see what's left off the top 10. Undertale, Downwell. I wanted to play Transformers Devastation.
Ooh, that's a good one. Me too.
I only played the first 3 episodes of Game of Thrones, so since I didn't finish it, I didn't put it on there. Her Story, I wanted to check out because a lot of people said it was really interesting. I didn't get a chance to get to Legacy of the Void from StarCraft 2. I only played an hour of the Talos Principle, so I didn't count that. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider, I wanted to get to that.
Rise of Tomb Raider is very good.
So starting with number 10, I put The Witcher 3 as my number 10 game of the year. So it did crack the top 10.
You said it wasn't going to make the top 10. I'm so glad.
And it did. And it was because I went all the way to 10. It wasn't going to make my top 5. But Witcher 3 comes in at number 10. Number 9 is You Must Build a Boat, which was the Match 3 game from the dudes that made 10 million. That got me through a flight to and back from Florida and boredom at the airport, and it was like the perfect game at the perfect time. So I loved it, and I was legitimately hooked on it. I really loved the sense of progression in that game. Number 8 is Gunman Clive 2. I thought the follow-up was unbelievable. The first game was fantastic. I played it on the 3DS. I know the first Gunman Clive game is on iOS and Android, but I don't know if Gunman Clive 2 was 3DS only or not. Number 7 was Broforce. That was a game that I bought in early access, but it officially came out here in 2015, and I love it. It's a platformer shooter, and the cool hook with the game is that you're basically playing as action movie heroes, like Die Hard, like we talked about earlier, Arnold Schwarzenegger, RoboCop, Neo from The Matrix, Blade, a whole bunch of different people. It's really cool, and they changed the name a little bit so that you know who you're playing as, but they don't have to do any licensing stuff with it. So instead of Commando, you're Bromando, stuff like that. So I thought it was a cute little way to handle that. But it's great. I love it. Number 6 was Batman Arkham Knight. So that didn't crack my top 5. I thought that it was going to. I liked it a whole lot, but I like some other games better.
How far did you get into the what's it called? The post game? What's that called?
New Game Plus?
New Game Plus.
I want to say when I was done with the game, I was at 68% completion. Like when I saw the credits roll. Yeah. And I want to say I'm at maybe 15 to 20% through New Game Plus.
Was there any part of you that wanted to get the 100% good ending?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah.
It was that was a huge problem with that game. is the fact that the good ending or the full complete ending was buried underneath so much bullshit.
Right.
The regular trophies and all that. Like, that was just really, really a poor choice.
And did you watch it on YouTube?
Yeah.
It's only like 20 seconds longer.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it was a very short, it was not worth it. So, yeah. So, not making the top 5. My number 5 game is Axiom Verge. I really liked that game a lot. I know, Dustin, you wished that it was a little bit better, but there was definitely times where I was itching to play that game.
It's a great soundtrack.
And the soundtrack's amazing. The sound work in general is really good. The sound effects for all the weapons are awesome. I love the animation. The sprite work's really good. So, yeah.
Is that game on the Vita yet?
I don't think yet.
Okay.
But I remember seeing a tweet from Thomas Happ that, because we follow him on Twitter, I remember seeing a tweet from him that he's like, I promise I'm working on it. It's almost done. Number 4 is Rocket League. I liked that game a lot more than I thought that I would, especially after the first time I played it. I didn't like it at all. I was a little tipsy, and I had just gotten done playing Arkham Knight, so I was used to the way the Batmobile controlled, and it was just really jarring to try to control the Rocket League cars. And then once I couldn't take it anymore, everyone raving about the game, I bought it on PC and realized that I was wrong and the game's great. Number 3 is Heroes of the Storm, so you were pretty close there, Mike.
Do they have something called Legion of the Storm? Is that a thing? Is there Legion DLC or something?
I'm sure that there's some bullshit MOBA on the iOS App Store that's called that.
Legion of Legends?
Legion of Legends.
That's a
2.
thing.
Yeah, so I love that game. I think it might have even made my list last year because I played it in alpha, but it came out this year and I played it a lot, so I'm counting it.
You know what's funny? I don't mean to interrupt you, but you were talking about Cho'Gall, who is a Warcraft character, and how he has 2 heads. Well, you were saying that, it's a character where one guy controls the head and one guy controls the body, and I think that does happen, but it's like an ogre with 2 heads. I don't know if you knew that from the beginning or you know it now, but that's probably why 2 players control it, because it's like 2 guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I explained that very well. Number 2 is Super Mario Maker.
Number 2.
I absolutely loved it. And much like you talked about earlier, Mike, it's because of the YouTube stuff. Getting to play levels with Zarek and Dumez, having Kevin, our Canadian correspondent, having him make a level and then kind of have me in mind while he was designing it, thinking that it would be challenging and fun for me to play through. It was just a really cool feeling. There was another guy, the Glasses 61 on YouTube. He sent me a few levels to make, and then he commented on the fact that he enjoyed watching me play through the level. So it was really satisfying. So the whole experience was just amazing, and it made the game really fun and really satisfying. So
It seems really fun.
Where you were in a situation where you didn't have that sense of an ending, I got that pretty frequently because of the community aspect of stuff.
Well, I had a sense of an ending. I mean, when I played a really hard level that I finally beat, it felt great, but I didn't have that extra, right? That extra of like, and I didn't make any levels either. I'm not going to ever make any levels, but
that extra feedback loop, that extra,
yeah.
Like, I couldn't wait to tell Kevin when I beat his level, and I couldn't wait to put Zarek and Dumbass's levels on our YouTube channel, and real particularly, and then don't lose your thought, but when Zarek made a puzzler level, and I got to put that up on our YouTube channel, that just really stands out to me as one of my favorite parts of gaming this year, because his response to me was like, "Oh my gosh, you totally didn't do this right. You solved it in a completely different way," and it made him rethink about how he was even going to design the level. Like, he thought about maybe going back and fixing some exploits.
Right.
So what were you going to say?
I was going to ask you, actually, if he ever finished your level and put it up there.
Not yet, but he said he will soon.
Because I'm looking forward to that, although it may be demoralizing when he beats it in like 3 tries. Now, I don't claim to be good at platformers, but I do claim to be persistent. So,
Dumez beat it without much trouble.
It's not a really hard level, but you can die really quickly.
It's punishing if you die.
Yeah, and then you have to just restart it over and over again.
Yeah. So, truthfully, the only reason that I made the level the way that I did in the beginning was I just wanted to see if I could make a cool pattern with the flame rods.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kept progressing from there, and I'm like, ooh, maybe I could make a little spot where you could just barely fit in. And then I quit worrying about the cool pattern that I was making, and just wanted to make it all about that tiny little space that you could just barely fit in.
Right.
And just really like that. And then the rest of the level, I wanted to make it so that it felt like you were far into a Mario 3 game, where it wasn't quite as hard as some of the like the tank or the ship levels, but you were getting close to that.
And well, there's a part basically at the end where you have to be on floating platforms, and then there's, I don't know, like 6 or whatever guys throwing spinies at you. And I feel like that's kind of random. I don't know, maybe it's not. I don't know how to guide spinies, but if he throws it at you and it's directly at you, like, you're gonna die.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I designed it that way on purpose because I was getting lazy and I wanted to keep it a little challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's basically it's kind of funny because you have this part where you basically have to do it perfectly at the beginning, otherwise you're gonna die. And that's fine, and you can get past that, but it's not super easy. You're not gonna get past that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And then you go through, and then there's a bunch of easy stuff actually, and then you go towards you're almost at the end, and then there's like you can randomly die.
Yeah, because I've got like you said, maybe 6 or so. I don't think it's quite that many, but the cloud guys it's a lot.
Yeah. So it's that combination of, and then if you die there, then you might die 6 or 7 times at that first part again.
Exactly.
Before you get a chance to get back there.
Yep.
And that's annoying.
It was. And I didn't put as much effort. Like, I'm a little embarrassed that my Mario Maker levels are out there in the ethos and have been played because I didn't put a ton of thought into them, but some things still worked out well, where like Zarek and Dumez were still complimentary about certain things that I did in the levels. So even though I kind of half-assed them a little bit, I still stumbled into some cool stuff.
And how long did it take you to beat it, like to upload it?
Not because I had I got really good at that beginning.
Okay.
So for me, it wasn't. It didn't take me too long.
Well, I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, it took me about half an hour, but that was a ton of deaths, right? Because like you can go and die in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Another thing that I enjoyed with Mario Maker was, not from a playing perspective, but being a big Giant Bomb fan and Patrick Klepek fan, watching the little feud between Dan Reichert and Patrick Klepek unfold was really fun. And then to watch Jeff Gersman get really, really good at making difficult Mario levels in a different way than Reichert would do it. I just really enjoyed watching all of that unfold. The back and forth and the challenge and the community getting involved. So not just playing, but it was the game that I definitely enjoyed watching the most.
I guess. But I mean, it's that same thing, right? I mean, if you upload the level, you can spend 12 hours straight or, 2 days straight playing it for 10 or 20 hours to try to upload that level. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to put that on video. You know what I mean? You're not putting the upload on video. But when the person playing it has to put it on video, then it makes it look like that person sucks, right?
Yeah.
But they don't, because it really took you. It might take them 6 hours, which is a long time, but it took you 10 hours. I don't know. Like, I don't understand exactly what the competition is there. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun. I get that, but
well, it was more like it was really cool to watch Reichert try to stump Patrick.
But he's not putting him designing the levels on YouTube.
In some cases, he is.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I didn't realize that. I didn't know.
Some of the Giant Bomb Premium content, it has little tastes of that, and Dan tells how long it's taken him to beat certain levels and stuff. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it is unbalanced in that respect, but that doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying that's not fun. I'm just saying that's not what I'm looking for in a video game. That's all.
No, I understand. And then my number one game of the year was Ori and the Blind Forest. I loved, even though I ran into a game-breaking bug and had to start the game over, which they have patched the way that that happens now. You can actually go back multiple saves, and I'm pretty sure you were not able to do that when the game first launched. But I had to restart the game and still absolutely loved it. The music, the art, the controls, the exploration. I liked the skill tree, and I really, really liked the story. It was just awesome. So all around was just fantastic. So it was definitely my favorite game of the year. But Mario Maker was pretty close. Towards the end of the year here, I was definitely spending, obviously, a lot more time with Mario Maker, so it almost crept into number one. But Ori still was the game that I was just so blown away when I was done with that one that I just couldn't believe it. It was just better than I was expecting. And then my favorite retro game this year was Contra, because I beat it without dying. And I was really proud of that. So,
Did you read that article that Hughes Johnson put up about the game testers, the game counselors?
Mm-mm.
He put up some article about game counselors in the 80s, and one of the guys basically said that he would go into work and he would just beat Contra without dying every day.
I believe it.
And he said if he died, he'd just start it over again. But that was like his warm up to the day, you know, like, okay, I gotta counsel these kids, so I'm just gonna do my warm up of beating Contra. But he did say it only takes like 17 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, so. It's not real long. So okay, so that's my list. I'm sorry that this episode is so long. Our Game of the Year ones usually are.
Yeah.
Game of the Year.
You gotta have some discussion. So, but the reason I'm mentioning that is I want to get to our YouTube comments, and then Mike, then we can hash out a little bit about The Witcher.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm gonna go through Demez's comments, and then do you want to take on Zarek, Dustin? Did I lose you, Dustin?
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, okay.
Too many times coughing. Sorry.
Okay.
But okay, let's see. Zarek. He says, I'm going to have to check out that Smarter Everyday thing. My roommate is a hardcore Trump supporter. He agrees with Trump about the Muslim immigration ban. I've heard that SLI might be the way to go for VR on PC. Each card can be set up to render one eye. Man.
I've heard that too. That's not going to be an option for me, though. I can't afford that.
Yeah. Let's see. He heard my neck crack loud and clear. I didn't think it was that loud.
I clicked on his timestamp. You can hear it. It's funny.
That's awesome.
It's a satisfying neck crack.
He says, you mentioned Chrono Trigger again. I'm now compelled to name another RPG of equal or greater quality. I'll stick with the time-traveling theme of Chrono Trigger this time. I choose you, Secret of Evermore. This was an amazing game. RPGs with good real-time battle systems were rare, and Secret of Evermore was among the best. I own that. I need to play it.
I own it as well, and I haven't played it.
I think I tried it like for like half an hour when it very, very first came out. So like 2 decades ago. But
So you've owned it since 2 decades ago?
I bought it again like 2 years ago, I think. I saw it on eBay for a cheap price, so I
Yeah.
snatched it up. And I just haven't.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't want to interrupt your reading comments, but have you seen how ridiculous Super Nintendo games are?
I have not.
They
Are they going
they
crazy?
are insane right now. Super Mario World is like a $25 game. Super Mario World. This game used to be like $7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Man, I need to go through my collection again and see what all the
Yeah, I
prices
think yes. Well, and you have Hagane, right?
are. Mhm. That's
Like it. Probably when you guys talked about it 2 years ago, it was like maybe a $250 game. I think it's like $450 now. I think. I'm not sure.
Oh man.
That 401k just keeps
Yep.
growing.
Yeah.
Was he? Where did we leave off then?
Secret Evermore was among the wait, hold on. Good real time.
I don't have
Yeah,
a
that's
single
right.
memory. Yeah.
I don't have a single memory of a bad thing about this game. The dog had to be one of my favorite parts of the game. I loved how he would change forms with whatever time period you were in. The toaster form of him in the future was very funny. I also loved how much control you had over him. He had sliders in the options menu that controlled his aggression level, as well as how much priority he put into finding hidden items. This was a SNES game. It was way ahead of its time. A great classic.
Sweet. I've never played it.
I, for one, welcome our artificial overlords. The word robot is offensive to our masters, with open arms. I will always serve you loyally. This part of my comment is for the AI that takes over our planet in the future. I don't want to have a crystal embedded into my palm or be used to make Soylent Green. Unless that is your wish, of course. By the way, I think that our masters will enjoy your weather pun, Dustin. They will surely show you mercy for it. You can use your military training to help compel the rabble-rousers into accepting our masters. Your son jumping on his first Goomba reminds me of the father that made his son play through the video game history chronologically. You should look that story up if you haven't read it. I think we
Yeah.
talked about it on the show, didn't we?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was arrested for child abuse.
Yeah, right. I've heard that Sling TV is a viable option for people to watch sports after they've cut the cord.
Let me jump in there. I had Sling TV. So I had basic cable and Sling TV, and that covered me for like 90% of football. So it is a viable option. But now that football's over, cut that
Plus
cord.
Notre Dame sucks.
Hey, fuck you. They probably will lose their bowl game, though. So I'm bummed about that.
No, they're all right.
But it is a good option, so.
Okay, sweet. I'm not sure if all HDMI splitters strip HDCP. I know some do for sure, but I do know you can use a HDMI converter by Monoprice 105369 to strip the HDCP. I may or may not have done this for the PS3 so that I could get clear HDMI video. And I may or may not have done this for the PS4 before they disabled the HDCP. You may or may not be able to copy-paste the text between the quotation marks in Amazon to find the device in question. The device is also a lot cheaper now than it would have been at a theoretical time in which it would have been used by me. Theoretically, of course. Mario Maker is so much more fun because of YouTube. It's so great to watch someone play your level. I'll have played your 1% level by the time you read this on the air.
Did he?
No. But he's been working like 7 days a week. I don't know how he has time to make any YouTube videos, let alone play my stupid level. So all is forgiven. Yeah, thanks, Eric. Great comment as always. We struck a nerve with Trump because we got a little comment from Domez about Trump as well.
Yeah.
Trump's amazing.
Domez says, if you like Smarter every day, you've got to check out Veritasium on YouTube. Veritasium. So cool. I'll definitely have to do that. And then he says, the dumbest thing about Trump's Muslim comment is how the hell do you detect a Muslim? A questionnaire? And he goes on to...
Blood test.
Blood test, yeah. He says if Muslims were banned from entering the USA and you said you were a Muslim, that would be... all you'd have to do is check the no box. Being a Muslim is not a real thing. Religion's not a real thing. You can just say what you are or what you are not. Yeah, he just points out how dumb that comment was.
Let me tell you something about Trump. I don't want to get political. This is not political. This is me being oppressed. I have never before, ever, seen somebody utterly destroy front-runner candidates like Trump has.
Yeah.
He destroyed Jeb Bush. He might have destroyed the entire Bush name. I don't know what happened, but he destroyed it. And he destroyed Scott Walker. Both of them were front-runners of the race at one point.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how he did it.
Before he started really doing it, everybody thought it was just a foregone conclusion that it was going to be Clinton and Bush as what the election was going to be. So, yeah, I mean, he's certainly...
Say what you will. I mean, whatever you believe in, whatever, that has never happened before.
No.
As far as I know.
I think it's his media experience.
Something like that.
Or
just...
Well, I heard, I don't know if it's true, but like that he doesn't really have a publicist. So he doesn't have somebody writing his speeches. He's just... And he's not afraid to flip-flop.
Right. Yeah.
If you own it, like if you run from it, like if you're like John Kerry and you're like, oh, I didn't do it. But if you own it, you're like, yeah, I said that. So what? Changing my mind.
Yeah.
I think people respect that more.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I mean, I don't care, but I'm just saying that I've never seen anything like that before.
No.
So.
And it's just...
Say what you will about him.
Yeah, it's just... It comes across as like a cartoon, like just a bigger joke than our elections usually are.
That's saying something, too.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we did have the guy that invented the internet almost win. So that would have been...
Well, and
crazy.
You know what? Now that I look back on it, that was basically a war crime. Internet's horrible.
Well, Donald Trump will
comments?
just call up Bill Gates and get him to turn it off. I think he said something like that.
Well, have you ever read YouTube comments? Just burn the whole thing down.
Yeah.
We don't need it. We're good.
So, and then Domez goes on to say, I've used the Oculus Rift and you don't need a lot of room. You sit down at your PC desk like normal, and the head tracker is on top of the monitor. It is not like it is the Kinect where you need to stand with your whole body. And he says it was amazing.
Jealous.
And then he says, newsflash, Scott, Apple is screwing you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
Totally.
I thought that was pretty clear that we thought that. And it says, it's why I've never used their products. I knew they would do this, and indeed they are. I don't know if I've ever owned an Apple product.
Wait, what did they do?
They're selling the iPhone 6 and 6S
memory.
with only 16 gigs, and then they're using that as their selling point for their price point, even though it's basically a worthless $800 phone at 16 gigs with what you really, to actually use it.
If I ever use a good Android phone, I will gladly switch.
Yeah.
I just haven't found one. I tried the Samsung Galaxy S5, hated it, had to return it after like a week.
Oh, really?
It's just like...
I don't like Samsung's Android skin.
Whatever it is. Somebody give me a good phone, and I will gladly get it.
Yeah,
It takes fast pictures, and otherwise I have to keep going back to shitty Apple.
Yeah.
So
You might be stuck there for a while. And then he also says, I first play Versus, I think he means played. I first played Versus Super Mario Brothers in the arcade, but before I had ever heard about an NES. It was a sit-down thing with two screens. You guys know the red tent The Nintendo Versus?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm familiar with Super Mario Versus. I don't know what you're talking about, though.
Oh, okay. So he goes on to describe it. It's a sit-down thing with two screens, one on each side, so you could sit opposite each other. It used to be tennis, but one day they moved Super Mario into it. For the record, the arcade versions are harder. Check out the MAME emulator if you ever knew about it. I also first played Castlevania in the arcade. Again, the exact same game, but something harder. I don't know what that typo is. So it's like they call it the red tent because it's a little sit-down NES, but you have a joystick and a and B button. And it's pretty much... The games are almost identical to the NES counterpart. But there are some differences. Like in Excite Bike, there's something where like you can knock down 5 enemy riders and get like a super boost of speed or something like that. And you can't get that in the NES version. Or like you get a gold bike or something like that. There's like a little Easter egg with it. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Okay.
And then he also says, Scott, did I check out Zarek's Koopa Mario Maker level? No, I haven't. He says, I have no idea how to do it. It's no matter of it being too hard. I don't understand how it can be done. Hope to see a vid if you can figure it out. Now I'm a little motivated. I might need to go back and do that.
That's not the one where you had to like go to the left side of the screen and hit blocks. I don't know. There's one that I saw you doing where, like, honestly, you were there and there was just like no way out. And then if it was me, I would have been like, I don't know how to do this, and I would have quit. But you said, oh, there's got to be a hidden block somewhere, and then you went and found a hidden block.
Oh yeah, that was a dumbass level. And then you turn into like a big guy and burst through blocks.
And you can burst through the blocks. Yep.
Yeah. I think watching Patrick Klepek pick apart Mario Maker levels helped me realize that, like, it's kind of fun to unravel a spot in Mario Maker that seems just broken or impossible. Because my thought process is, well, he had to get through it. But the weird thing about that was he called it a puzzler, but the only puzzle was that first screen.
Right, and then it was kind of like...
But I was expecting more puzzles as the level progressed. I kept thinking he was going to trick me.
Now, because you can see the editor, right?
Yeah, you can download the level and...
if you look at the editor, you can see those hidden blocks, can't you?
Yes.
So, okay. So it's just, I guess you just have to say, trust that the people playing it are not going to look for those, not going to download the level and look at it. Because I think that's a valid thing that you can do if you want to figure out how to get through the level.
Yeah, if you're stumped, absolutely. For the purpose of the videos I put on our channel, I wanted to stay true to it. But yeah, I mean, if you're completely stumped and you want to figure it out, then download it and check it out. And then we have Mike T on the show, so we don't have any emails from him.
This was one long email. I feel sorry for you guys.
So, okay, Mike.
Okay, before we talk about The Witcher, I want to say a couple things. One, the last time Hagane sold on eBay was a couple days ago. $427, $6 shipping, and that was with bids. Ridiculous.
Awesome.
I bought a game a couple years ago called Evo, Search for Eden, and I bought it for like $107 or something shipped, and that game sells for $200 now.
Damn.
And I thought I overpaid for it. I was like, I don't want to spend $100 on a game, but I wanted the game, so ridiculous.
I'm just hoping I time it right when I unload my, like when I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move on and get rid of these old Nintendo games. I hope that the market hasn't bottomed out when I get ready to do that.
How is it supposed to bottom out though?
Lack of interest.
Maybe. I mean, the people that are buying them are not going to die until another 40 years, right?
Yeah.
So you're good because you'll be dead by the time they're dead. So as long as you don't leave it to your kids to unload, then you're good.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'll be surprised if the market doesn't level off a little bit or come down a little bit.
Well, the funny thing too is that a game that I have not seen go up in a long time, years, is actually Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
That's been holding steady. Every other game that was something that wasn't as good as or as expensive as Earthbound, but still kind of in that same area, has skyrocketed higher. Because even Hagane was at one point lower than Earthbound.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully you're right, and these toys that we have are going to continue to climb in value.
Oh.
I'm just not going to get my hopes up about it.
And then the other thing was that, did you guys see that there was a Crystal Pepsi giveaway?
Huh.
So on Monday or something, we're recording this on Thursday, Pepsi did something where they were giving away Crystal Pepsi 6-packs.
Cool.
You had to enter in, and it was a random sweepstakes. And gosh darn it, Jeremy won one.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. I didn't get one, but he got one. Good for him. I told him it's because he's lucky, and he thought that was funny. But yeah, so he got one. He asked me if I wanted one, but actually there's a rumor going around that they're going to be available in July. So I told him I told him he should sell it on eBay.
Did you guys like Crystal Pepsi?
Oh, I loved Crystal Pepsi.
See, me too. I can still really vividly remember what it tastes like, so I'll be really curious if I ever get to try a re-release, how close it is.
Yeah. What about you, Dustin?
I don't remember it at all.
Like even the commercials, like Van Halen and...
Yeah, I remember that too.
I mean, I remember it existing, but I don't remember the flavor of it to save my life.
I don't really remember the flavor of it either, to be honest. Like, yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to. But I remember I liked it better than regular Pepsi, so.
Do you guys ever get, like, smells or tastes that as soon as you experience it, it puts you immediately back into a memory?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that with Crystal Pepsi.
What's the smell or taste that puts you back into Crystal Pepsi?
I was just at my friend's house. It was just like... So I remember just so vividly being at my buddy's house trying Crystal Pepsi. Like, there's lots of foods that I've tried that I couldn't remember the taste of. And then would try it again, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fine. But there are a couple that I really remember really distinctly what they are or what they taste like from when I was a kid. Crystal Pepsi's one, and I can never forget the flavor of a watermelon Jolly Rancher. It reminds me of sometimes when I hear Sonic the Hedgehog 1's title screen, I can almost feel like I have a Jolly Rancher in my mouth.
I get that with whenever I hear House of Pain jump around, I immediately think of Shinobi 3 from the Sega Genesis.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because it was right around the same time, so I would just put House of Pain jump around on a loop and then play that game.
Awesome. So since I have other examples, I guess just to go to what you're saying, there's no memories that I experience now that make me taste Crystal Pepsi, but it was such a vivid memory that I feel like I remember what it tastes like in the same way that I remember what watermelon Jolly Ranchers taste like. So I think I'll be able to verify if it tastes the same or not.
Just stick a watermelon Jolly Rancher in there.
That'd probably be pretty good. When you guys were in high school, was it real popular for girls to take Jolly Ranchers and put them in Zimas? You guys remember Zima? Like the alcohol drink?
I think Zima came out when I was in college.
No, you're not that much older. It was on its way out. I remember being pretty little and seeing Zima.
Oh, introduced in 1993. Never mind.
Yeah. I was just wondering if girls did that in your high school.
I never heard of a Zima until I went to college, so I'll put it that way.
Okay.
We drank Coors Light in college.
We drank
Although this is
Natty
from
Light in
Coors,
college.
so never mind.
We were a natty school. It felt like...
Gross.
Yeah. Well, it felt like whenever my friends and I would come back from our various schools, like over the summer and stuff, it felt like there was a divide. You were either a Keystone, which is gross, or Natty Light school, which is less gross. I think Natty's okay. I think I acquired enough of a taste to it.
We used to call it Nasty Ice.
Oh, Nasty Ice. Yeah, we used to... We actually figured out how much more alcohol you got in a case of Natty Ice versus a case of Natural Ice. Or Natural Light. So we would always fight down drinking Natty Ice, which was disgusting, because it had a little bit more booze in it. We felt it was the better value.
Should have just got some Mickeys. That was even better value.
Ugh, I hate the taste of 40s. Like
That's what I used to drink in college.
Yeah.
I was such a terrible, terrible drinker. Drank Mickey's and Red Bull.
Wait, together?
Yeah. I probably should have died a long time ago. Yeah.
You know, we used to mix up pink lemonade, like frozen concentrates, with beer and vodka in a big like cooler. You put like a case of beer in, a handle of vodka, and a bunch of these like concentrates.
This is in college?
And we called it electric lemonade. It was
this an
good.
all-girls school, or where'd you go?
I wish it was all girls. There was too much competition. There were so many better-looking guys. Although my girlfriend in college was pretty cute.
Actually, the college I went to was 65% female.
Oh.
And I don't know why. It was never it was always a co-ed school, so.
Yeah, I went to a state school here in Ohio. That was always co-ed.
Was it Ohio? Did you go to Ohio University?
I did. Founded in 1804. Not Ohio State, though. I don't like Ohio State. So yeah, okay. That wraps up the show, except for what Mike wants to talk about.
All right.
Dustin, can you hang in there for like a little bit longer?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. Okay, Mike.
All right. What ending did you get?
I got the bad one.
Well, did you YouTube all the other endings?
No, I saw that they were available, but I didn't have the time to do it. I saw like
it before I spoil it completely?
I saw some slight descriptions. What'd you say?
Do you want to do it before
No.
I'm just going to spoil it for you. You know what? You'll deal with it.
Well, I know that there's a scenario where you end up with Yennefer. There's a scenario where you end up with Triss. There's...
Well, but so those are like the...
Then there's some where like kings are involved and...
Right, those are like the kind of like this... I don't know how to put it. Those are like kind of the side endings. But there's like 3 main endings.
Okay.
3 main epilogues, I guess you could call them. So which one did you get?
Based on what I read, Ciri died, and then I chased after one of the crones.
Oh no, you really did get the bad ending.
And then Geralt dies, basically.
Yeah,
I mean it's not confirmed, but he dies. And the real disappointing thing for me was a lot of the dialogue options that it looks like made an impact on the ending. Mm-hmm. Like you're making so many dialogue options, choices throughout the game. You don't know what's affecting it and what's not. And there's so many times where you would select a dialogue option and then they would respond in a completely different way.
Exactly. Yes.
So then you get in a position where you're like, God, how do I want to answer this so that it'll be favorable towards Yennefer, for example? And clearly I just did it wrong. And it was really disappointing to have my efforts be towards getting Yennefer in the end and empower. My thought process was choose Yennefer and empower Ciri. So I was supportive to Ciri whenever I had the chance, and I tried to do anything I could to be beneficial towards Yennefer, and it didn't work out well.
Well, so with Yennefer, that was clear. She told you to meet her somewhere, and you didn't, and then you failed that quest.
But that wasn't clear.
No, I understand, because what happened with me when I did that was that I kind of I wasn't really thinking about it, and she was like, "Oh, meet me somewhere," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go do that eventually."
I'll go back to that, and then you get and
then you go find the ugliest man alive, and it's like failed the quest. So I was like, whoa, wait a minute, and I looked at that quest, and I went back and I had to go on the internet, look at it, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to fail that quest. So I actually loaded up a previous save.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that was the one time where I loaded up a previous save. Other than that, I just live with all my decisions.
So
that one was pretty clear cut as to how you do that one. But the Ciri thing,
I don't know if I apparently, what I think I did wrong was they gave me 4 dialogue options right before she's going to go into the final portal for the frost thing or whatever.
Right.
And I selected one of the wrong ones.
No, her fate is already decided at that point. So previously, there's a bunch of other dialogue options. So there's a point where she wants to have a snowball fight with you. Like when you're at Kaer Morhen.
I don't remember that.
You might have not done it. So, she's bummed out because the other Witcher died. And then I can't remember exactly what the dialogue option is, but somehow you get to a point where you have a snowball fight with her.
Okay.
And I think you can either beat her or let her win. It doesn't really matter, but you have to have that snowball fight. If you don't have it, that's 1 mark against you. So there's 5 critical points, and you have to get 3 out of the 5 for her to live. So you didn't do that.
I'm going back. I'm re-editing Witcher 3's off my top 10 list. That's fucking stupid.
Well, okay, that's one of them. Another one is, and I don't know exactly, when you play as Ciri, there's a point where there's a boy that likes you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He dies, right?
Yes.
And when you go back to, and see, I think you can avoid this completely, but you go back to whatever the Skellige, and Geralt will take Ciri there, and then she'll say, "Oh, what happened to that? What happened to that boy?" And they'll be like, "Oh, that boy was a coward."
Yeah, and then I found him in like a pit where they threw dead bodies.
Right. You have to. I don't know what it is. I think you have to basically say that you're gonna kill somebody. Like she wants to kill somebody. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. And you don't actually end up killing that person, but it's like if you try to hold her back, that's another ding against you. And then there's a few other places like that. So when I did it, I actually got 3 out of 5. Now I didn't know about this. I didn't know anything about it. I went back and read it after I got the ending. And I was like, oh, thank God. There's another time where you're in somebody's study and she realizes that she's been used. And you can either tell her to calm down, or you can say let's burn this place down or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you you trash the guy's study. It's like on some island. It's that elf guy that
Yeah.
If you trash the study, that's a good. And if you tell her to calm down, it's bad.
Okay, so I did an opposite of everything that I should have done.
Right.
And I feel like that's bullshit, and it was misleading because they make Ciri feel like a very sweet and kind person
Right.
and a
You're
very
thinking
strong
yourself,
person. So
like,
you're doing these things, and yet she's got this inner rage that they never expressed at any point in the game. And then you spend 40 hours in the game, and they punish you with a fucking horrible ass ending. And you see Geralt just fucking die to level 4 enemies that you hit in one
right.
shot.
He's holding her
Her pendant or whatever.
her pendant, and like they converge on the place, and it just fades to dark, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's funny because the way that you were doing it seems like the right way. Like you were basically acting like a parent to her.
Yeah.
Right? You were like guiding her. And when I was doing it, I was thinking of it as just in my mindset, I'm her parent, but I'm, a millennial parent. Like I let my kid do whatever they want to do, and I encourage that. You know what I mean? And I was like, if Siri's upset, then I'm upset, and we're gonna tear this place down. And that's the way that I played the game, and I still only got 3 out of 5 of the markers that you have to get. Now, if you do get the best ending, what happens is she goes into that portal, and then then it just says 2 weeks later. And since you're a Witcher, like I didn't know any better, he goes and tells the Emperor that Ciri died. And at this point, I'm like, oh fuck that, because I think that she died, right? Mm-hmm. And then you tell the Emperor, and you kind of tell him, oh, she said that, she didn't have a, you could say that she hated you, or you could say that she liked you and stuff like that. You can make the Emperor feel better, but it doesn't really matter. And then you say that you have to meet somebody, and he's like, oh, are you meeting Triss? And you're like, yeah, I'm meeting Triss. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm gonna go meet Triss. And then you go and you get a sword from somebody, and then you go to an inn. And at this point, I'm like, wait, what am I doing? And I'm already in my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna figure out how to get the good ending. I'm gonna load a previous save, and I'm gonna go do this good ending, because this is bullshit that she's dead. Mm-hmm. And then you walk into that tavern with the sword, and then you see somebody with a cloaked hood, and then she pulls her hood back, and it's Ciri. And I was like, to the point where I was almost in tears. And then when I saw her, I jumped up off my couch and was like, fuck yeah! Fuck yeah, she's alive! And then you give her the sword, and the sword says Ciri in it or something like that, because that's her Witcher sword, and now she becomes a Witcher with you. And you guys go off and do Witcher stuff together.
Okay. And
then there's a third ending where she lives, but then she goes back to the Emperor and becomes Empress. And that one is also not satisfying. But the one where she dies, that's the absolute worst one. And so I went onto YouTube and I watched the other 2 endings, and I watched that ending that you got last. I started crying.
Really?
Because I was so upset by that ending, even though that's not the ending that I got. That's how much I loved this fucking game.
Yeah. And honestly, hearing you describe how to get the good endings is making me like the game even less. Because
but now
it's unfair, mad. It's misdirectional, and it wastes your fucking time.
You're mad. You were mad when you got that bad ending, weren't you?
I felt like the game... I knew I didn't get the best ending, because I'm like, well, that was really vague. And then I Googled Witcher 3 endings, and then when I saw quote-unquote bad ending, and that was the one that I got, I'm like, that's bullshit, because I didn't play the game to deserve the bad ending. But when I saw that that's what I got, then I was like, well, that was dumb. And then hearing you describe to me like how I should have known better, like
that's not what I said.
Not you're saying that, but you're explaining to me how the mechanics work, and I'm supposed to somehow know better. Like CD Projekt Red is what I mean by you. Is it like I'm more mad because I feel like I did it the right way, and I did what the game was leading me to do, and then they are like, oh, by the way, fuck you.
But did I play it the wrong way? I think that's the part that I like the best. Now I got the good ending, and let me tell you something. If I got that bad ending, and that for me, that bad ending was just one choice, one different choice. because I was right on the edge. Right, there's 5 things that 5 choices that you have to make throughout the game, and I got 3 out of those 5 right, I guess.
Yeah.
If I would have made a different decision on any one of those, I would have got the same ending you got.
Yeah, and
to me, that's like, I can tell you right now.
And you like that risk?
It would have devastated me to get the bad ending.
Like, I'm okay with multiple endings in games, but like hearing how vague they are, and they also do a ton of misdirection with making you think that like clearly now that I know the ending, they do things that make you feel like it was important, but it didn't matter at all.
Well, like what? Because everything's kind of important. So I'm not sure exactly what ending you had. So what happens is you get your ending, and then there's like a artistically drawn sort of epilogue. Like, so Dandelion basically kind of tells you what the state of the world is afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you got that because I think your Geralt died. So did you get that where he says...
I got some script stuff, but truthfully, the audio balance was really poorly done. And I had to crank my speakers all the way up because I had a hard time hearing the narrator over the music.
Okay.
So I did get some explanation stuff,
Right.
where it's like a kind of a canvas and looks hand drawn and whatnot.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
narration
yeah,
over it. I got that, but I mean, I couldn't decipher what it was saying.
All right. Well, and to be
I
honest,
also
that
didn't
part
care.
is just kind of like, who cares? I feel bad that you had such a bad experience with it. I mean, and I'm talking about overall, but I'm excited that you're passionate about it, even though you're mad.
I guess I can see. Yeah. It just like hearing how close I was to having like a fair ending.
Well, see, okay, so those 5 things that I was talking about just determines whether Ciri lives or dies. To get that third ending where she joins the Empire, that's another set of like 7 choices, I think, where you have to... And you probably did that right. If you basically said, the Emperor sucks, you should never join the Empire, then that was probably fine. But if you were on the Emperor's side, then she might have went back to the Emperor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember any of that part, but...
Well, and also, I thought that... And I do blame you a little bit for this. Because you made it seem like the Triss and Yennefer thing mattered. And
yeah, it does matter.
Not really.
Yeah, it matters to who you might
Or
end up
what
with.
cutscene you get at the very end, but the thing that I did care about was Ciri.
I know,
and what girl you end up with is irrelevant to that.
I know, but I didn't want to ruin it for you. I didn't want to say, "Hey, watch out."
You set expectations that totally screwed me. Like, you sent me in this weird direction. So now I am analyzing the game in a completely... I'm constantly wondering when Yennefer is going to get important and when Triss is going to get important. And then they bring those characters together to help fight for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, they're buddies. Like, what?
Well, yeah.
And then there's no, like, main conflict between them.
When I boned them both, they didn't really like each other that much when they got together.
They didn't really like each other. They still got together. It didn't affect anything.
Well, they still both love Ciri.
Yeah, sort of the weird lady without eyes. Everybody loves Ciri. That was the whole point. And they don't give you any indication, like, based on what you're telling me, the way the game portrays Ciri is just completely misleading on how to not get the bad ending. Like, you have to go against the grain of however you've decided to play the game.
Well, so their explanation is that when she goes, and I didn't play it with this in mind either. When she goes into the void, she has to feel like there's people behind her, and that most important person is Geralt. She has to feel like Geralt has her back. And if you're constantly like reining her in and telling her that she's wrong, that she doesn't feel.
But I didn't. I said that I built her up. Like, I supported Ciri and stayed true to Yennefer.
Right. So in that sense,
and then
right,
the game snatches Yennefer a third of the way through the game away from you, and she turns into a completely irrelevant character.
Well.
Oh no,
guys! The elf study. Dustin's got to go.
What?
Oh, I thought you said. When you're in the elf study, this is like the last thing I'm going to say. You said, she says, "I'm mad right now. I want to burn this place down." You say,
I said, "Calm down there." Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you only have like 3 seconds or whatever to answer. Every one of those things that's important of those 5 things are all answers like that, where you only have 3 seconds to answer.
Oh,
I don't know if you caught that, but that's what it is.
Well, I'm catching it now, but at the time, okay,
Still
I'll give
there?
you. They still have. They have. No, can you not hear me, Mike? Hello.
We may have lost him.
We lost him. So, anyways, all right.
All right.
He's back.
There he is.
Okay.
That's okay.
Hold on.
Scott.
Hold on, Mike.
Oh, gone again.
I have to start the audio recording again. This is great for YouTube. Why isn't this letting me? Did we just lose Mike again? Or Dustin,
Mike,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, everyone. I will finish this conversation with Mike offline. I gotta get the... Okay. And that just fucked up everything. Okay, so... you're on mute, Dustin.
Am I?
You're not anymore.
Okay.
I just didn't hear you laugh. I saw you laugh, but I didn't hear you laugh. So anyways, I would continue the... Mike's internet crapped out on us, so... I don't know what he's going to have to say, but we're going to wrap up the episode here. So, everyone, if you're still listening on YouTube, really appreciate you sticking with us. And for the audio people, hopefully you enjoy this song by Boo Boo 8-Bit. I want to thank Zarek and Damez very much for writing in. Thanks a lot for Mike for ruining The Witcher 3 for me. No, but it was great to have him on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And check him out at thecartoonretrocast.com. That was our game of the year, I guess.
Woo!
Until Dawn,
Yep.
and Ori in the Blind Forest. Those are our recommendations.
That's right. And Witcher 3, of course.
Fuck that. So, all right, everyone. Thanks a lot for listening, and we will see you... Maybe next week. We have to figure that out, Dustin, what we're going to do for the holidays. But we'll see you soon for episode 166.
Boosh!